Welcome, weary travelers of the digital age, to a gentle journey through the mountain town's most merciless mirror. Tonight, we explore the delicate art of celebrity destruction as practiced by South Park's creators, where fame becomes folly and ego meets its gentle demise. From the earliest tentative mockeries to the systematic deconstruction of cultural icons, we witness how animated satire has become our most honest reflection of celebrity worship and its inevitable consequences. So settle into your covers, close your eyes like you're watching the credits roll on another manufactured scandal, and let us drift together through the surprisingly profound world of animated character assassination. Rest easy, and let's begin. In the quiet mythology of satirical television, there exists a moment of genesis so pure and accidental that it reveals the fundamental nature of how celebrity culture would be, forever changed by two young creators, armed with nothing more than construction paper and an instinct for human absurdity. The very first celebrity to appear in what would become the South Park universe arrived not through careful planning or calculated targeting, but through the kind of innocent randomness that often produces the most profound cultural shifts. Brian Boitano, the Olympic figure skater whose name would become synonymous with moral guidance and superhuman capability, entered the South Park lexicon in 1995 through a Christmas card that Matt Stone and Trey Parker created as a simple holiday greeting for their friends. The selection of Brian Boitano as the first celebrity oracle in South Park's universe speaks to something deeper than mere coincidence or random name-pulling from a hat of famous people. His status as an Olympic figure skater placed him in that peculiar category of celebrity that exists in American consciousness, recognizable enough to be famous, but removed enough from everyday scandal to maintain an almost mythical purity. When the boys in that first animated short found themselves caught between the conflicting demands of Santa Claus and Jesus Christ, their decision to seek guidance from Brian Boitano represented a perfectly American solution to moral confusion, turning to celebrity rather than philosophy, institution, or personal reflection. The genius of this choice becomes apparent when we examine how it established the template for everything that would follow in South Park's approach to celebrity culture. Rather than mocking Boitano directly, the creators elevated him to an almost godlike status, treating his supposed wisdom and problem-solving abilities as unquestionable gospel. This reversal of expectation, where the celebrity becomes not the target but the solution, created a form of satire so gentle and affectionate that it bordered on genuine tribute, while simultaneously commenting on society's tendency to seek answers from people whose only qualification is being well known. Brian Boitano's response to his South Park immortalization became the gold standard for how celebrities should react to animated parody, demonstrating a level of grace and humor that would prove remarkably rare among his fellow famous individuals. His immediate embrace of the absurdity, his willingness to play along with the joke, and his practical decision to profit from the association through charity merchandise revealed someone who understood intuitively that being mocked by South Park was ultimately a form of cultural validation rather than attack. His cooking show titled after the South Park song, his use of his animated character as social media avatars, and his continued references to the parody decades later demonstrated how celebrity participation in their own satirical destruction could actually enhance rather than damage their cultural legacy. The contrast between Boitano's gracious reception and the defensive reactions of later celebrity targets would become one of the most revealing aspects of South Park's cultural impact. Where Boitano saw humor and opportunity, others would see threat and insult, revealing fundamental differences in psychological security and self-awareness that the show's creators would exploit with increasing sophistication as their understanding of celebrity psychology deepened. His example proved that the damage celebrities suffered from South Park parody was largely self-inflicted, resulting more from their reactions than from the original satirical content. The evolution from Brian Boitano's gentle elevation to the systematic destruction of celebrity egos that would follow represents one of the most fascinating trajectories in modern satirical development. The creators learned from Boitano's positive response that celebrities who could laugh at themselves not only survived South Park's attention but often thrived because of it, while those who took themselves too seriously provided endless material for further mockery. This insight would become the psychological foundation for everything that followed, creating a feedback loop where celebrity, ego, and defensiveness became the very weapons used against them. Kathie Lee Gifford's appearance in the first official South Park episode represented the tentative next step in this evolutionary process, a cautious probing of how far the creators could push their satirical boundaries without triggering serious backlash. Her portrayal in the show was remarkably restrained compared to what would come later, focusing more on situation comedy than character assassination. She was presented as a visiting celebrity, disrupted by the chaos of South Park, rather than as someone whose personal failings or public persona demanded satirical correction. This gentle approach reflected the creators' uncertainty about how aggressive they could be with real public figures, while still maintaining their nascent television career. The choice of Kathie Lee Gifford as an early target reveals the careful calculation that went into these early celebrity selections. As a television personality known primarily for cheerful morning show banter rather than serious artistic or political contributions, she represented a safe target who was unlikely to inspire passionate defense from fans or generate serious legal challenges from network executives. Her established public persona, as someone who maintained an almost aggressive cheerfulness, made her naturally suited for the kind of situational comedy that South Park was still developing in its early episodes. The restraint shown in Gifford's portrayal becomes even more significant when compared to the absolute character assassination that would later become South Park's signature approach to celebrity parody. In her episode, she emerges relatively unscathed, with the comedy arising from circumstances rather than personal characteristics. This gentle treatment suggests that the creators had not yet developed the confidence or perhaps the philosophical framework that would later justify their more aggressive approaches to celebrity destruction. Sally Struthers occupies a unique position in South Park's celebrity destruction timeline as the first figure to receive what could genuinely be called character assassination, rather than mere satirical inclusion. Her transformation from a beloved television actress into a grotesque caricature of hypocritical gluttony marked the moment when South Park discovered its true satirical voice and abandoned the polite boundaries that had constrained earlier celebrity appearances. The decision to portray her as morbidly obese while advocating for starving children represented a level of cruel precision that went far beyond simple mockery to become genuine artistic statement about hypocrisy and the disconnect between celebrity activism and personal behavior. The psychological foundation for the Sally Struthers destruction reveals the emerging philosophy that would guide South Park's approach to celebrity targets for decades to come. The creators identified what they perceived as a fundamental disconnect between her public advocacy and her personal appearance, treating this as a form of hypocrisy that demanded satirical correction rather than polite overlooking. This marked the birth of South Park's core principle that celebrity hypocrisy, particularly when it involved serious social issues, created moral justification for even the most brutal satirical treatment. The lasting impact of the Sally Struthers parody extended far beyond the immediate comedic effect to establish precedents that would influence every subsequent celebrity destruction. Her inability or unwillingness to respond publicly to the parody created a template for how celebrity silence would be interpreted as validation of the satirical criticism rather than dignified restraint. The creators learned that celebrities who failed to engage with their parodies, whether through humor or direct response, left themselves vulnerable to continued and escalating satirical attack. The escalation from Sally Struthers to Barbra Streisand represents perhaps the most significant evolutionary leap in South Park's approach to celebrity destruction, moving from individual character assassination to the creation of archetypal celebrity evil that transcended specific personal failings to become commentary on the fundamental nature of celebrity ego and cultural influence. Streisand's transformation into Mecha Streisand established her as South Park's ultimate celebrity villain, someone whose perceived arrogance and cultural pretensions made her worthy not just of mockery, but of literal demonization within the show's fictional universe. The creators' stated hatred for Barbra Streisand stemmed from her alleged dismissal of Colorado residents as hicks, but the intensity and persistence of their satirical attacks suggests deeper psychological, philosophical motivations. Her status as someone who combined massive fame with political activism and cultural commentary made her a perfect representative of the kind of celebrity intellectual pretension that the creators found most objectionable. The decision to repeatedly return to Streisand as a villain, rather than moving on to new targets, indicated that she had become more than just another celebrity parody, evolving into a symbol of everything they opposed about celebrity culture's intersection with politics and social commentary. The Mecha Streisand episodes established the template for how South Park would handle celebrities whose egos and public positions made them suitable for complete satirical destruction rather than gentle mockery. The literal transformation of Streisand into a mechanical monster capable of destroying entire cities represented the logical extreme of celebrity ego, unchecked by self-awareness or humility. This metaphorical approach allowed the creators to express their fundamental critique of celebrity culture through fantastical scenarios that were simultaneously absurd enough to be entertaining and pointed enough to constitute genuine social commentary. The persistence of the Streisand parody across multiple seasons and story arcs demonstrated how certain celebrity targets could become permanent fixtures in South Park's universe, their satirical destruction never quite complete because their real-world counterparts continued to provide new material through their public statements and behavior. This created a feedback loop where the ongoing celebrities' public presence justified continued satirical attention, making their South Park destruction a potentially permanent feature of their cultural legacy. The psychological framework that emerged from these early celebrity destructions revealed the creators' developing understanding of how celebrity culture operated and how satirical intervention could serve broader social commentary purposes. The selection of targets based on perceived hypocrisy, ego, and cultural pretension rather than simple fame suggested that South Park's celebrity destructions were intended as moral instruction rather than mere entertainment, using individual celebrities as examples of broader cultural problems that needed satirical correction. The evolution from Brian Boitano's elevation to Barbra Streisand's demonization established the full range of South Park's satirical approach to celebrity culture, creating a spectrum that would accommodate every possible type of celebrity personality and public behavior. This range allowed the creators to respond appropriately to different types of celebrity behavior while maintaining consistency in their underlying philosophical approach to fame, ego, and cultural responsibility. The early experiments in celebrity destruction provided the foundation for what would become one of the most sophisticated and influential forms of satirical celebrity commentary in modern media, establishing precedents and principles that would guide celebrity parodies for decades to come. while forever changing how famous individuals would need to consider their public behavior and potential satirical consequences. In the sophisticated ecosystem of celebrity destruction that South Park would develop over its decades of satirical evolution, no industry would prove more fertile ground for systematic character assassination than the music business, where the intersection of artistic pretension, manufactured authenticity, and massive ego created perfect conditions for the kind of satirical intervention that Matt Stone and Trey Parker would elevate to an art form. The music industry's unique combination of creative self-importance and commercial calculation provided an endless supply of targets whose public personas invited the kind of deflation that only animated satire could deliver with surgical precision and devastating effectiveness. The destruction of Phil Collins represents perhaps the most personal and petty motivation for celebrity annihilation in South Park's entire catalogue, arising not from any grand philosophical disagreement with his artistic contributions or cultural impact, but from the simple and profoundly human emotion of wounded pride, following an Academy Awards ceremony that left the creators feeling personally insulted by the Academy's choice to honor Collins over their own nominated work. The decision to transform Collins into a recurring villain whose musical abilities are portrayed as fundamentally terrible and whose personality is depicted as insufferably arrogant stemmed directly from their loss of the Oscar for Best Original Song when their satirical masterpiece was defeated by what they considered to be generic commercial pablum. The genius of the Phil Collins destruction lay not in its sophistication but in its transparent pettiness, creating a form of celebrity assassination that was simultaneously childish and devastatingly effective, precisely because it made no attempt to disguise its personal motivations behind larger satirical purposes or social commentary. The creators' willingness to dedicate multiple episodes to destroying Collins simply because they were upset about losing an award revealed something profound about the nature of artistic ego and the way that personal slights can be transformed into lasting cultural commentary through the medium of satirical revenge. The specific techniques employed in the Collins destruction established a template for how musical artists could be systematically undermined through the simple expedient of portraying their music as objectively terrible while simultaneously depicting them as completely unaware of their own inadequacy. The episodes featuring Collins consistently showed him performing songs that were presented as complex and meaningful, but were obviously simplistic and generic, creating a form of satirical cognitive dissonance that invited audiences to question their own assumptions about artistic merit and commercial success in the music industry. The psychological impact of sustained satirical attention on Collins himself became part of the ongoing narrative of his South Park destruction, with the creators claiming that their parody had real-world effects on his career and public perception that extended far beyond the immediate viewership of their animated attacks. This feedback loop between satirical destruction and actual career consequences would become a recurring theme in South Park's celebrity destructions, raising questions about the ethical implications of using animated platforms to potentially damage real people's professional prospects and public standing. The persistence of the Collins attacks across multiple seasons demonstrated how certain celebrity grudges could become permanent fixtures in South Park's satirical universe, with individual episodes serving as opportunities to revisit and expand upon established themes of artistic inadequacy and personal arrogance. The creators' apparent inability or unwillingness to move beyond their initial grievance with Collins suggested that some forms of celebrity destruction were motivated less by ongoing behavior than by psychological need to continue, punishing perceived slights through sustained satirical attention. Elton John's treatment by South Park provides a fascinating counterpoint to the Collins destruction, demonstrating how celebrity cooperation and good humor could transform potential satirical attacks into collaborative celebrations that enhanced rather than damaged artistic reputations. John's willingness to voice himself in episodes, perform original songs for the show's soundtrack, and generally participate enthusiastically in his own satirical portrayal created a model for how celebrities could navigate South Park's attention without suffering the kind of reputational damage that befell less cooperative targets. The psychological factors that enabled John's successful collaboration with South Park revealed important insights about celebrity, ego, and security that would prove relevant to understanding why some famous individuals thrived under satirical attention while others were destroyed by it. John's established artistic legacy and genuine creative accomplishments provided him with sufficient confidence to engage playfully with satirical portrayals rather than defensively, creating opportunities for mutually beneficial artistic collaboration rather than one-sided character assassination. The specific ways that John was incorporated into South Park episodes demonstrated how the creators could adapt their satirical approach based on the cooperation level and personality of their celebrity targets. Rather than attacking John's music or persona, the show used his established cultural status and musical abilities as positive elements within storylines, creating a form of celebrity portrayal that was simultaneously satirical and genuinely respectful of artistic achievement. The contrast between John's treatment and that of other musical celebrities highlighted the extent to which South Park's celebrity destructions were responsive to the behavior and attitudes of their targets rather than being predetermined attacks based solely on fame or cultural prominence. This responsiveness suggested that the creators possessed a more nuanced understanding of celebrity psychology than their most brutal character assassinations might initially suggest, with their satirical approaches calibrated according to what they perceived as appropriate responses to different types of celebrity behavior. The systematic destruction of boy bands, particularly the Jonas Brothers, represented South Park's engagement with one of the most cynically manufactured aspects of the music industry, where artistic authenticity was subordinated to marketing considerations and audience manipulation in ways that the creators found particularly deserving of satirical correction. The specific focus on purity rings and the disconnect between sexualized marketing and proclaimed moral values provided perfect material for the kind of hypocrisy-based character assassination that had become South Park's specialty. The Disney connection in the Jonas Brothers' destruction allowed the creators to expand their satirical scope beyond individual celebrities to encompass the entire corporate machinery that created and manufactured musical acts. The portrayal of Disney executives as cynical manipulators who understood exactly how to market sexuality to children while maintaining plausible deniability through religious symbolism revealed the sophisticated understanding of media manipulation that informed South Park's most effective celebrity destructions. The psychological realism of the Jonas Brothers portrayed suffering under corporate control created a form of satirical commentary that managed to be simultaneously critical of the individual celebrities and sympathetic to their position as victims of larger commercial forces. This nuanced approach demonstrated how South Park's celebrity destructions could serve multiple satirical purposes simultaneously, attacking both individual hypocrisy and systemic exploitation within the entertainment industry. The long-term cultural impact of the Jonas Brothers' destruction extended beyond immediate comedic effect to influence broader conversations about child performers, religious marketing, and corporate exploitation of young artists. The show's willingness to examine the psychological costs of manufactured celebrity on the celebrities themselves added layers of social commentary that elevated the episodes beyond simple character assassination to become genuine cultural criticism. Kanye West's Fish Sticks saga represents perhaps the most psychologically complex and philosophically rich celebrity destruction in South Park's entire catalog, creating a form of satirical commentary that operated on multiple levels simultaneously, while revealing profound insights about ego, self-awareness, and the relationship between artistic genius and basic human understanding. The genius of the Fish Sticks joke lay not in its inherent humor, but in its function as a psychological test that revealed fundamental characteristics about personality, intelligence, and emotional security that extended far beyond simple comedic entertainment. The specific mechanics of the Fish Sticks joke created a perfect trap for certain types of celebrity personalities, particularly those whose self-image depended on being perceived as intellectually superior or creatively innovative. The joke's deliberately simple structure made it impossible for genuinely secure individuals to fail to understand, while simultaneously creating multiple opportunities for insecure celebrities to reveal their psychological vulnerabilities through increasingly desperate attempts to demonstrate their sophistication. The sustained nature of West's failure to understand the joke, documented across multiple episodes and extending into real-world interviews and social media posts spanning more than a decade, created a form of celebrity destruction that was largely self-inflicted and continuously renewed through the target's own behavior. This self-perpetuating aspect of the West destruction demonstrated how the most effective celebrity satirical attacks could achieve ongoing impact without requiring continued input from the original creators. The psychological profile that emerged from West's interaction with the Fish Sticks joke revealed someone whose artistic confidence masked fundamental insecurities about intellectual recognition and social acceptance that made him particularly vulnerable to the kind of satirical attack that questioned his basic comprehension abilities. The joke's effectiveness stemmed from its ability to bypass West's areas of genuine competence and expertise to target psychological vulnerabilities that his public persona was specifically constructed to conceal. The broader cultural implications of the Fish Sticks destruction extended beyond individual character assassination to encompass commentary on artistic ego, the relationship between creativity and intelligence, and the ways that fame can create psychological blind spots that prevent even genuinely talented individuals from maintaining connection with basic human experiences like understanding simple jokes. The real-world persistence of West's engagement with the Fish Sticks joke, including his continued references to it in interviews and song lyrics years after the original episodes aired, demonstrated how certain forms of satirical attack could achieve the kind of psychological penetration that created lasting impact on their target's self-perception and public behavior. This ongoing engagement suggested that the joke had achieved something approaching genuine psychological integration into West's identity and self-understanding. Britney Spears' portrayal in South Park arrived at a moment of genuine personal crisis that transformed what might have been simple celebrity mockery into profound commentary on media exploitation, mental health, and the sacrificial nature of celebrity culture in American society. The creator's decision to focus not on Spears herself, but on the systems and individuals that exploited her vulnerability, created a form of satirical commentary that was simultaneously critical and compassionate, using her specific situation to illuminate broader patterns of celebrity destruction that extended far beyond individual cases. The prophetic elements of the Spears episodes, particularly the prediction that young female celebrities would be systematically destroyed by media attention and public consumption, revealed the creators' sophisticated understanding of celebrity culture's fundamental dynamics and their willingness to use satirical platforms to expose mechanisms of exploitation that might otherwise remain hidden or normalized within entertainment industry practices. The specific imagery of Spears being literally photographed to death by paparazzi created a metaphorical framework for understanding celebrity destruction that connected individual cases to broader patterns of public consumption and media exploitation. This metaphorical approach allowed the creators to examine serious social issues through satirical means while maintaining the entertainment value necessary for effective cultural commentary. The ritual sacrifice elements of the Spears episodes connected contemporary celebrity destruction to historical patterns of community scapegoating and sacrificial practices, suggesting that celebrity culture served deeper psychological and social functions than simple entertainment or gossip consumption. This anthropological perspective elevated the satirical commentary beyond immediate cultural criticism to encompass fundamental questions about human nature and social organization. The prescient identification of Miley Cyrus as the next potential sacrificial victim, made when she was still a teenage Disney performer, demonstrated the creator's ability to recognize patterns within celebrity culture that allowed them to predict future developments with remarkable accuracy. This predictive element of their satirical commentary revealed the extent to which celebrity destruction followed recognizable patterns that could be identified and analyzed by sufficiently observant cultural critics. Country music's treatment within South Park's celebrity destruction framework revealed the creators' complex relationship with American regional culture and their willingness to examine the intersection of musical authenticity, political messaging, and commercial calculation within genres that claim to represent traditional values and authentic American experience. The specific targeting of artists who use tragic national events as material for commercial gain demonstrated the creator's sensitivity to distinctions between genuine artistic response to cultural trauma and opportunistic exploitation of public emotion. The Alan Jackson parody focused specifically on the commercialization of September 11th through musical tribute that the creators perceived as inauthentic and self-serving rather than genuinely commemorative or healing. This critique revealed their sophisticated understanding of how artistic responses to national tragedy could serve personal career advancement rather than community healing or cultural processing of collective trauma. The country music destructions generally focused on perceived inauthenticity and commercial calculation rather than musical quality or artistic merit, suggesting that the creators applied different standards to different musical genres based on their assumptions about artistic intention and cultural function. This differential treatment revealed their underlying beliefs about which types of musical expression deserved satirical protection and which invited critical examination. Hip-hop culture's representation within South Park's celebrity destruction framework demonstrated the creators' attempts to navigate the complex cultural and racial dynamics surrounding a musical genre that operated within social contexts very different from their own personal experience and cultural background. The specific approaches they took to different hip-hop artists revealed both their respect for genuine artistic achievement and their willingness to critique perceived commercial manipulation and cultural exploitation within the genre. The varying degrees of satirical attack applied to different hip-hop celebrities reflected the creators' attempts to distinguish between artists who maintained authentic connections to the cultural foundations of their genre and those who appeared to exploit hip-hop imagery and attitude for commercial purposes without genuine cultural connection or artistic contribution. This distinction demonstrated their awareness of cultural appropriation issues while maintaining their commitment to satirical examination of celebrity behavior regardless of racial or cultural context. The psychological complexities, revealed through musical celebrity destructions, illuminated fundamental questions about artistic authenticity, commercial success, and cultural impact that extended far beyond individual cases to encompass broader issues about the relationship between art and commerce in contemporary American society. The creator's willingness to examine these issues through satirical means created opportunities for cultural conversation that might not have emerged through more conventional forms of criticism or commentary. The lasting impact of South Park's musical celebrity destructions on both individual careers and broader industry practices demonstrated the significant cultural influence that satirical commentary could achieve when it successfully identified and exposed genuine contradictions within celebrity personas and commercial practices. The feedback loops between satirical attack and real-world consequences created a dynamic relationship between animated criticism and actual cultural change that revealed the power of satirical platforms to influence behavior and dynamic practices within the entertainment industry through the simple expedient of making certain types of hypocrisy or exploitation sufficiently ridiculous to become culturally unsustainable. In the sprawling landscape of Hollywood's manufactured mythology, where carefully constructed personas serve as shields against genuine scrutiny and artistic pretension masquerades as profound cultural contribution, South Park discovered its most target-rich environment for systematic celebrity destruction. The film and television industry's unique combination of massive egos, public vulnerability, and cultural influence created perfect conditions for the kind of satirical intervention that could expose the fundamental contradictions between public image and private reality that define so much of contemporary celebrity culture. The creator's willingness to attack even the most seemingly untouchable figures within Hollywood's hierarchy demonstrated their understanding that true satirical power required the courage to challenge not just easy targets, but the very foundations of entertainment, industry, authority, and cultural influence. Tom Cruise's destruction at the hands of South Park represents perhaps the most dangerous and consequential celebrity assassination in the history of animated satirical commentary, creating ripple effects that extended far beyond simple entertainment into the realms of religious controversy, legal threats, and genuine cultural upheaval that demonstrated the extraordinary power that satirical platforms could wield when they successfully identified and exploited the psychological and institutional vulnerabilities of their targets. The decision to focus not merely on Cruise's individual eccentricities, but on his role as the primary spokesperson for Scientology, transformed what might have been simple celebrity mockery into a full-scale assault on an entire religious organization and its practices. The genius of the Cruise destruction lay in its dual-pronged approach that simultaneously attacked his personal credibility through the closet metaphor, while systematically dismantling the philosophical and practical foundations of Scientology through detailed examination of its beliefs and practices. This strategy created a form of satirical commentary that operated on multiple levels simultaneously, using Cruise's individual psychology as a gateway to broader cultural criticism about the relationship between celebrity endorsement and religious legitimacy in contemporary American society. The specific mechanics of the closet metaphor revealed the creator's sophisticated understanding of how symbolic representation could be used to suggest broader truths about celebrity psychology and behavior without making explicit claims that might generate legal challenges or defamation. Accusations. The sustained refusal of the animated Cruz to emerge from the closet created a form of psychological pressure that mirrored real-world speculation about the actor's personal life, while maintaining plausible deniability about the satirical intent behind the metaphorical construction. The Scientology elements of the Cruz destruction demonstrated the creator's willingness to use celebrity satirical platforms to engage with serious religious and philosophical questions that extended far beyond entertainment into genuine theological and social commentary. Their decision to present Scientology beliefs in straightforward documentary style, rather than obvious satirical exaggeration, created a form of religious criticism that allowed audiences to draw their own conclusions about the pain, reasonableness of the organization's practices and philosophical foundations. The real-world consequences of the Cruz destruction, including alleged legal threats, pressure on network executives, and actual changes to episode scheduling and availability, revealed the extent to which effective satirical commentary could generate genuine institutional resistance from powerful individuals and organizations. The creators' experience with Scientology's response to their satirical attacks provided crucial insights into the practical limitations and potential dangers associated with using animated platforms to challenge wealthy and well-connected targets who possessed both the motivation and resources to fight back through legal and economic means. The psychological profile that emerged from Cruz's satirical portrayal revealed someone whose public confidence masked fundamental insecurities about personal identity and social acceptance that made him particularly vulnerable to the kind of satirical attack that questioned his authenticity and psychological stability. The show's focus on his enthusiastic embrace of Scientology as evidence of gullibility rather than spiritual sophistication created a narrative framework that invited audiences to question the relationship between celebrity status and intellectual credibility. The lasting cultural impact of the Cruz destruction extended far beyond immediate comedic effect to influence broader public perception of both the individual celebrity and the religious organization he represented. The episode's continued unavailability on certain platforms and their legendary status within South Park's catalog demonstrated how certain forms of satirical commentary could achieve cultural significance that transcended their original entertainment context to become genuine historical documents about celebrity culture and religious freedom in contemporary America. Russell Crowe's destruction through the Fighting Around the World parody revealed South Park's ability to transform genuine celebrity behavioral problems into sustained satirical commentary that simultaneously entertained audiences and provided social criticism about anger, management, cultural entitlement, and the ways that fame could exacerbate rather than resolve underlying psychological issues. The creators' decision to base their satirical attacks on Crowe's well-documented history of physical altercations demonstrated their preference for reality-based character assassination over purely fictional celebrity destruction. The specific format of the Fighting Around the World show within a show created opportunities for the creators to examine not just Crowe's individual behavior, but the broader cultural dynamics that enabled and encouraged celebrity violence through audience, fascination, and media coverage. The satirical television program served as a metaphor for the way that celebrity bad behavior could be transformed into entertainment content that actually rewarded the problematic behavior it purported to criticize. The psychological realism of Crow's portrayed anger issues created a form of satirical commentary that was both humorous and genuinely concerning, raising questions about the relationship between celebrity status and mental health that extended beyond simple entertainment into legitimate social commentary about fame's psychological costs. The show's willingness to suggest that Crow's behavior stemmed from deeper psychological problems rather than simple character defects demonstrated a more nuanced understanding of celebrity psychology than might be expected from purely comedic, satirical attacks. The creator's personal relationship with Crow, including their attendance at his private musical performances and their direct criticism of his artistic choices, provided additional layers of authenticity to their satirical portrayal that suggested their attacks were based on genuine personal experience rather than purely media-derived impressions. This personal connection created both opportunities for more accurate satirical commentary and potential ethical questions about the use of private interactions as material for public satirical attacks. The resolution of Crow's satirical story arc, where he eventually gains some self-awareness about his behavioral problems and attempts to modify his approach to interpersonal conflict, demonstrated the creator's willingness to allow celebrity targets opportunities for redemption and growth, rather than maintaining purely negative satirical portraits indefinitely. This capacity for satirical evolution suggested a more sophisticated understanding of human psychology and personal development than might be expected from straightforward celebrity destruction narratives. Steven Seagal's portrayal as an emotionally fragile action hero whose tough guy public persona masked deep insecurities about public perception revealed South Park's ability to identify and exploit the gap between celebrity, image, and psychological reality that characterized so many Hollywood personalities. The decision to focus on Seagal's sensitivity to online criticism rather than his action movie roles created a form of satirical commentary that was both unexpected and devastatingly effective in undermining his carefully constructed, masculine image. The specific scenes of Seagal breaking down over internet comments created a form of satirical role reversal that transformed a supposed tough guy into a vulnerable individual seeking protection from verbal criticism, revealing the fundamental disconnect between public persona and private psychology that the creators identified as a crucial vulnerability in celebrity psychological armor. This approach demonstrated their understanding that the most effective celebrity destructions often involved revealing authentic human vulnerability beneath constructed professional images. The collaboration between Seagal and other emotionally fragile celebrities in seeking safe space protection created opportunities for broader satirical commentary about celebrity psychology and the ways that fame could create rather than resolve psychological insecurity and social anxiety. The musical number featuring multiple celebrities singing about their need for protection from criticism revealed the creator's understanding of how individual celebrity vulnerabilities could be combined into broader cultural commentary about fame's psychological costs. The comedy legends who fell victim to South Park's satirical attention revealed the creator's willingness to challenge even beloved entertainment figures when they perceived evidence of artistic decline, commercial calculation, or personal hypocrisy that merited satirical correction. Rob Schneider's systematic destruction through movie trailer parodies demonstrated how sustained satirical attention could transform individual career criticism into broader commentary about Hollywood's commercial practices and audience manipulation technique. The specific format of the Schneider movie trailer parodies created a form of satirical commentary that simultaneously attacked individual artistic choices and broader industry trends toward formulaic content creation and audience exploitation. The escalating absurdity of the fictional movie concepts revealed the creator's understanding of how commercial pressures could drive artistic decision-making toward increasingly desperate attempts to capture audience attention through novelty rather than genuine creativity or entertainment value. Adam Sandler's inclusion in the comedy destruction narrative demonstrated the creator's willingness to target even financially successful entertainers when they perceived evidence of artistic laziness or audience manipulation that merited satirical attention. The focus on formulaic content creation and lowest common denominator humor revealed their commitment to artistic standards that transcended commercial success as measures of cultural value and creative legitimacy. Tyler Perry's particularly harsh treatment within South Park's comedy destruction framework revealed the complex racial and cultural dynamics that informed the creator's satirical approach to different types of entertainment, content, and audience demographics. The decision to literally bury Perry's character while having Token continuously fund his projects created a form of satirical commentary that operated on multiple levels simultaneously, addressing both artistic quality concerns and broader questions about cultural representation and audience responsibility within entertainment consumption patterns. The creators' handling of Lucas and Spielberg represented their most ambitious attempt to engage with questions of artistic integrity and commercial corruption within the entertainment industry's most prestigious creative positions. The decision to portray these legendary filmmakers as villains actively engaged in destroying their own artistic legacies through digital manipulation and commercial calculation created a form of satirical commentary that elevated individual celebrity criticism into broader philosophical questions about art, commerce, and creative responsibility. The specific focus on digital alteration of classic films revealed the creator's understanding of how technological capabilities could be used to serve commercial rather than artistic purposes, creating opportunities for sustained satirical commentary about the relationship between artistic vision and market-driven content modification. The portrayal of Lucas and Spielberg as motivated primarily by financial rather than artistic considerations created a narrative framework that invited audiences to question the relationship between commercial success and creative integrity within contemporary entertainment industry practices. The Indiana Jones rape metaphor represented perhaps the most extreme example of South Park's willingness to use graphic satirical imagery to express their feelings about artistic betrayal and commercial exploitation of beloved cultural properties. The decision to literally animate respected filmmakers sexually assaulting iconic fictional characters demonstrated the creator's understanding that certain forms of artistic betrayal merited satirical responses that matched the perceived severity of the original cultural offense. The method actors who attracted South Park's satirical attention revealed the creator's complex relationship with performer psychology and their willingness to examine the potential psychological costs associated with certain approaches to artistic creation and character development. The specific targeting of actors who claim to maintain character personas beyond their professional obligations created opportunities for satirical commentary about the relationship between artistic commitment and psychological stability that extended beyond simple entertainment into genuine cultural criticism. The child star phenomenon provided South Park with opportunities to examine one of Hollywood's most problematic practices through satirical means that could address serious issues of exploitation and manipulation while maintaining the entertainment value necessary for effective cultural commentary. The creators' approach to child celebrity destruction revealed their understanding that certain forms of celebrity criticism required different satirical techniques that could address exploitation without further victimizing individuals who might themselves be victims of systems beyond their control. The systematic nature of Hollywood's destruction within South Park's satirical universe demonstrated the creator's understanding that individual celebrity problems often reflected broader, systemic issues within entertainment, industry culture that required comprehensive rather than isolated satirical attention. Their willingness to attack not just individual celebrities but entire industry practices and institutional structures revealed their commitment to using satirical platforms for genuine cultural criticism rather than simple celebrity, gossip, or personal attack entertainment. The psychological insights revealed through Hollywood celebrity destructions illuminated fundamental questions about fame, creativity, and cultural responsibility that extended far beyond individual cases to encompass broader issues about the role of entertainment in contemporary society and the ethical obligations that accompanied cultural influence and public platform access. The creator's sophisticated understanding of celebrity psychology and industry dynamics enabled them to create satirical commentary that served educational as well as entertainment purposes, using individual celebrity destructions as case studies in broader patterns of cultural behavior and institutional practice that might otherwise remain hidden from public scrutiny or critical examination. In the treacherous terrain of political satirical commentary, where the intersection of power, ego, and public service creates infinite opportunities for hypocritical behavior and institutional corruption, South Park discovered perhaps its most dangerous and consequential hunting ground for celebrity destruction that extended far beyond entertainment into genuine threats to established authority structures and governmental legitimacy. The creator's willingness to attack sitting presidents, presidential candidates, and other powerful political figures revealed their understanding that true satirical courage required challenging not just entertainment, industry figures, but the very foundations of political authority and democratic institutional credibility in contemporary American society. The evolution of presidential parodies within South Park's satirical framework demonstrates a sophisticated understanding of how political power operates in relation to celebrity culture and media manipulation that allowed the creators to develop increasingly complex forms of political commentary that operated simultaneously as entertainment and genuine civic criticism. The progression from relatively gentle mockery of earlier political figures to systematic character assassination of more recent leaders revealed both the creators' growing confidence in their satirical authority and their increasing frustration with political hypocrisy and institutional dysfunction that they perceived as threatening to democratic governance and social stability. Bill Clinton's early appearances in South Park established the template for how sitting presidents would be portrayed within the show's satirical universe, with the creators demonstrating their willingness to acknowledge political authority while simultaneously undermining presidential dignity through association with the show's characteristic, absurdist scenarios and moral chaos. The decision to include Clinton in episodes dealing with controversial social issues revealed the creator's understanding that presidential involvement in satirical storylines could serve multiple purposes simultaneously, providing comedic material while making serious points about executive power and political responsibility. The specific ways that Clinton was integrated into South Park's fictional universe demonstrated the creator's sophisticated understanding of how political figures could be used as characters within satirical narratives without necessarily becoming the primary targets of satirical attack. This approach allowed them to comment on political issues and presidential behavior while maintaining plausible deniability about partisan motivations or personal animosity towards specific political figures, creating a form of political satirical commentary that could engage with serious issues while remaining primarily focused on entertainment rather than explicit political advocacy. The psychological profile that emerged from Clinton's satirical portrayals revealed the creator's understanding of how political personalities differed from entertainment celebrities in their relationship to public scrutiny and satirical attack. The relative restraint shown in Clinton's portrayal compared to the systematic destruction visited upon entertainment figures suggested that the creators recognized important distinctions between political authority and celebrity fame that required different approaches to satirical commentary and character development. George W. Bush's treatment within South Park's political satirical framework revealed the creator's increasing willingness to engage directly with contemporary political controversies and presidential decision-making in ways that moved beyond simple character comedy into genuine political criticism and policy commentary. The specific focus on Bush's perceived intellectual limitations and decision-making processes created a form of political, satirical commentary that questioned not just individual political choices, but broader issues of presidential competence and democratic governance quality. The escalation of political satirical aggression during the Bush years reflected the creators' growing frustration with what they perceived as declining standards of political discourse and institutional competence that merited more direct, satirical intervention than earlier political figures had warranted. This evolution demonstrated their understanding that satirical commentary needed to adapt to changing political circumstances, and that different historical moments required different levels of satirical intensity and direct political engagement. The Obama-era representations within South Park's political satirical universe demonstrated the creator's attempts to navigate the complex cultural and racial dynamics surrounding the first African-American president, while maintaining their commitment to satirical examination of political behavior and institutional practices, regardless of the racial or cultural identity of their targets. The specific approaches they developed for Obama-related political commentary revealed both their awareness of the additional sensitivities involved in satirizing historically marginalized political figures and their determination to maintain satirical independence from political correctness pressures. The dual heist scenario that provided the framework for Obama's major South Park appearance created opportunities for political satirical commentary that avoided direct engagement with controversial policy issues or racial dynamics, while still providing entertainment value and character development for the presidential figure. This approach demonstrated the creator's sophisticated understanding of how satirical scenarios could be constructed to allow political commentary without necessarily requiring explicit political positions or partisan advocacy. The collaborative relationship between Obama and McCain within the heist narrative revealed the creator's cynical understanding of political opposition as potentially performative rather than genuinely ideological, suggesting that apparent political enemies might actually be working together behind the scenes for purposes that served their mutual interests rather than their stated political principles or constituency obligations. This satirical framework provided opportunities for broader commentary about political theater and the relationship between public political discourse and private political calculation. The Trump era would eventually present South Park with perhaps its greatest political, satirical challenge, as the creators attempted to develop satirical approaches to a political figure whose own behavior and public statements often exceeded the absurdist scenarios that had previously served as the foundation for their political commentary. The decision to essentially merge Trump with the Mr. Garrison character created a form of political, satirical commentary that acknowledged the difficulty of satirizing someone whose real-world behavior consistently surpassed satirical exaggeration in its extremity and unpredictability. Hillary Clinton's treatment within South Park's political satirical framework revealed the creator's complex relationship with gender dynamics in political leadership and their attempts to develop satirical approaches to female political figures that avoided both excessive deference and misogynistic attack patterns. The specific focus on Clinton's political ambition and institutional connections rather than personal characteristics or gender-related issues demonstrated their understanding that effective political, satirical commentary required engagement with actual political behavior rather than demographic characteristics or cultural stereotypes. The anatomy-based humor that characterized some of Clinton's early South Park appearances revealed the creator's willingness to use juvenile comedic techniques when addressing political figures, suggesting that their satirical approach to politics maintained some connection to the show's broader comedic sensibilities, rather than being entirely driven by serious political commentary or policy criticism. This balance between serious political engagement and adolescent humor created a distinctive form of political satirical commentary that could address important issues while remaining accessible to audiences who might not otherwise engage with political content. The evolution of Clinton's portrayal across multiple seasons and different political contexts demonstrated the creator's ability to adapt their satirical approaches based on changing political circumstances and the evolving public roles of their political targets. The transition from Clinton as First Lady to Clinton, as Senator to Clinton, as presidential candidate required different satirical techniques and commentary approaches that reflected the changing nature of her political authority and public responsibilities. Al Gore's transformation from conventional political figure to satirical villain and eventual redeemed environmental prophet represents one of the most complex and psychologically rich political character development arcs in South Park's entire catalogue of political commentary. The initial destruction of Gore through the Man-Bear-Pig parody revealed the creator's skepticism about environmental activism and their perception that Gore's climate change advocacy represented attention-seeking behavior rather than genuine environmental concern or scientific understanding. The specific mechanics of the Man-Bear-Pig scenario created a perfect satirical trap for environmental activism that allowed the creators to examine the relationship between political advocacy and personal motivation, while simultaneously commenting on media coverage of environmental issues and public understanding of scientific concepts. The fictional nature of the environmental threat provided opportunities for satirical commentary about both environmental activism and environmental skepticism, without requiring the creators to take explicit positions on actual environmental science or policy issues. The psychological profile that emerged from Gore's initial satirical portrayal revealed someone whose political ambitions and need for public attention created vulnerabilities that could be exploited through satirical scenarios that questioned his motivations and competence. The focus on Gore's self-importance and attention-seeking behavior, rather than his policy positions or political philosophy, created a form of political satirical commentary that addressed character issues rather than ideological disagreements. The remarkable evolution of Gore's satirical treatment, culminating in the creator's explicit apology and acknowledgement that climate change represented a genuine threat, requiring serious attention, demonstrated their willingness to modify their satirical positions based on changing evidence and understanding. This capacity for satirical evolution and acknowledgement of error represented a sophisticated form of cultural commentary that elevated their political satirical work beyond simple entertainment or partisan attack into genuine engagement with complex policy issues and scientific questions. The specific terms of Gore's redemption, requiring the other characters to acknowledge his correctness and apologize for their previous mockery, created a satirical framework for addressing the creator's own evolution on environmental issues, while maintaining the entertainment value and character consistency necessary for effective satirical storytelling. This approach demonstrated their understanding that satirical commentary could serve educational purposes and facilitate public discourse about important issues rather than simply providing entertainment or reinforcing existing political positions. The international political figures who attracted South Park's satirical attention revealed the creator's understanding that American political satirical commentary needed to address global political dynamics and foreign policy, issues that affected domestic political discourse, and cultural understanding. The specific approaches they developed for different international leaders demonstrated their awareness of both the opportunities and limitations associated with satirizing foreign political figures for primarily American audiences. Saddam Hussein's treatment as a Canadian character, rather than an authentic Iraqi political figure, created opportunities for satirical commentary about American understanding of foreign cultures and political systems while avoiding the potentially problematic implications of attempting to accurately represent actual foreign political leaders and their cultural contexts. This approach demonstrated the creator's sophisticated understanding of how satirical representation could address international political issues while acknowledging the limitations of their own cultural perspective and political knowledge. The romantic relationship between Hussein and Satan provided a framework for examining American perceptions of foreign political evil and the ways that international political conflicts could be understood through personal and psychological rather than geopolitical or historical analysis. This satirical approach allowed the creators to comment on American foreign policy attitudes while maintaining the absurdist entertainment value necessary for effective satirical commentary. The political pundits and media personalities who became targets of South Park's political satirical attention revealed the creator's understanding that contemporary political discourse was shaped as much by media figures and commentary personalities as by actual political leaders and institutional authorities. The specific targeting of figures like Bill O'Reilly, Chris Matthews, and other cable news personalities demonstrated their recognition that political satirical commentary needed to address media culture as well as political culture to provide comprehensive critique of contemporary political discourse. The techniques developed for media personality destruction differed significantly from those used for actual political figures, focusing on performative aspects of political commentary and the ways that media personalities could manipulate political discourse for personal advancement rather than genuine civic purpose. This approach revealed the creators' sophisticated understanding of how political media operated and their commitment to using satirical commentary to expose manipulation and hypocrisy within political communication systems. The evolution of South Park's political satirical commentary from relatively gentle mockery of individual political figures to systematic critique of political institutions and media systems demonstrated the creators' growing sophistication in their understanding of how political power operated in contemporary American society. Their willingness to expand their satirical scope beyond individual political celebrities to encompass broader systemic issues revealed their commitment to using satirical platforms for genuine civic education and political discourse, Rather than simple entertainment or partisan advocacy, the lasting impact of South Park's political satirical commentary on both individual political careers and broader political discourse patterns demonstrated the significant cultural influence that animated satirical platforms could achieve when they successfully identified and exposed genuine contradictions within political behavior and institutional practices. The feedback loops between satirical attack and real-world political consequences created dynamic relationships between animated criticism and actual political change that revealed the power of satirical commentary to influence political behavior and public understanding through the simple expedient of making certain types of political hypocrisy or institutional dysfunction sufficiently ridiculous to become politically unsustainable and culturally unacceptable. In the bewildering landscape of contemporary fame, where the traditional pathways to celebrity status through artistic achievement, political accomplishment, or cultural contribution have been supplanted by an entirely new ecosystem of manufactured notoriety and algorithmic amplification, South Park discovered perhaps its most fertile and philosophically complex territory for satirical exploration. The emergence of reality television and social media celebrity culture created unprecedented opportunities for the creators to examine fundamental questions about the nature of fame itself, the relationship between genuine accomplishment and public recognition, and the ways that technological innovation could be weaponized to transform ordinary human dysfunction into profitable entertainment content that served corporate interests while destroying individual lives and corrupting cultural values. The systematic destruction of Paris Hilton represents one of South Park's most prescient and culturally significant satirical interventions, arriving at the precise moment when American celebrity culture was undergoing a fundamental transformation from merit-based recognition to attention-based commodity production that would reshape entertainment industry practices and cultural value systems for decades to come. The creators' recognition that Hilton represented something entirely new and potentially dangerous within celebrity culture demonstrated their sophisticated understanding of how individual celebrities could serve as harbingers of broader cultural shifts that required immediate satirical attention and critical examination. The genius of the Hilton destruction lay not merely in its brutal effectiveness as character assassination, but in its prophetic understanding of how her specific approach to celebrity creation would become the template for an entire generation of famous individuals whose primary qualification for public attention would be their willingness to monetize their personal dysfunction and private humiliation for public consumption. The decision to focus on her corrupting influence on young girls, rather than her individual failings, created a form of satirical commentary that elevated personal celebrity criticism into broader social commentary about cultural responsibility and institutional failure. The specific techniques employed in the Hilton parody revealed the creator's understanding that certain types of celebrity destruction required approaches that addressed not just individual behavior, but systemic problems within entertainment industry practices and cultural value systems. The portrayal of her as literally purchasing a human child as a pet created metaphorical framework for examining how wealth and fame could corrupt basic human relationships and moral understanding, while simultaneously commenting on economic inequality and social privilege within contemporary American society. The psychological realism of Hilton's portrayed narcissism and emotional dysfunction created satirical commentary that operated as genuine character study as well as cultural criticism, revealing how certain personality traits that might be manageable in private life could become dangerous when amplified through media attention and commercial exploitation. The show's willingness to suggest that her behavior represented genuine psychological pathology rather than simple moral failing demonstrated sophisticated understanding of how fame could exacerbate rather than resolve underlying mental health issues. The Mr. Slave competition that provided the climactic framework for Hilton's ultimate defeat created opportunities for satirical commentary about sexual behavior, cultural boundaries, and the ways that certain forms of transgressive performance could serve positive social purposes, while others represented purely destructive exhibitionism. This distinction revealed the creator's nuanced understanding of how apparently similar behaviors could serve entirely different cultural functions depending on their underlying motivations and social contexts. The lasting cultural impact of the Hilton destruction extended far beyond immediate comedic effect to influence broader conversations about celebrity culture, media responsibility, and the ethical implications of transforming personal dysfunction into entertainment content. The show's willingness to examine these issues through satirical means created opportunities for cultural discourse that might not have emerged through more conventional forms of criticism or academic commentary. The Kardashian phenomenon presented South Park with perhaps its most complex and culturally significant challenge within the reality television celebrity destruction framework, as the family's success represented the complete triumph of the attention-based celebrity model that Hilton had pioneered, but elevated to unprecedented levels of commercial sophistication and cultural influence. The creators' approach to the Kardashian family revealed their understanding that certain celebrity targets required sustained rather than episodic satirical attention due to their ongoing cultural impact and evolving public presence. The specific focus on Kim Kardashian's physical appearance and the Hobbit comparison demonstrated the creator's willingness to use juvenile humor and obvious physical comedy as vehicles for more sophisticated commentary about beauty standards, cultural representation, and the ways that celebrity culture could perpetuate harmful stereotypes and unrealistic expectations about physical appearance and personal achievement. The sustained nature of the Hobbit joke across multiple episodes revealed their understanding that certain satirical attacks achieved maximum effectiveness through repetition and elaboration rather than single instance. Destruction. Kanye West's defense of his wife against the Hobbit accusations created opportunities for satirical examination of celebrity relationships and the ways that personal loyalty could conflict with objective reality when celebrities became psychologically invested in maintaining fictional narratives about their personal lives and public identities. The psychological realism of West's gradual recognition of the truth, while simultaneously fighting against acknowledgement, created comedy that operated as genuine character study and relationship analysis. The broader Kardashian family dynamics that emerged through various South Park episodes revealed the creator's understanding of how celebrity families could function as commercial enterprises rather than traditional kinship structures, with individual family members serving specific roles within larger brand management strategies, rather than operating according to conventional family relationship patterns. This insight provided opportunities for satirical commentary about family values, commercial exploitation, and the ways that celebrity culture could corrupt basic human relationships. The murder mystery scenario that provided framework for Kardashian-related episodes demonstrated the creator's ability to use genre conventions and narrative structures as vehicles for celebrity satirical commentary that addressed serious issues about media violence, public fascination with celebrity suffering, and the ways that entertainment content could normalize and even celebrate destructive behavior to toward famous individuals. The Jersey Shore cultural phenomenon provided South Park with opportunities to examine regional stereotyping, class-based humor, and the ways that reality television could exploit and amplify negative cultural characteristics for commercial purposes, while claiming to celebrate regional identity and cultural authenticity. The specific targeting of Snooki and other cast members revealed the creators' understanding that certain reality television personalities represented broader cultural problems rather than individual character failings. The transformation of Snooki into a literally inhuman creature, rather than simply an exaggerated human character, demonstrated the creator's perception that certain forms of reality, television, celebrity had progressed beyond normal human behavioral parameters into territory that required entirely different forms of satirical representation and cultural commentary. This approach revealed their sophisticated understanding of how media participation could fundamentally alter personality and behavior in ways that transcended normal psychological development and social adaptation. The regional conflict framework that structured the Jersey Shore episodes created opportunities for satirical commentary about American cultural divisions, regional prejudice, and the ways that media representations could both reflect and amplify existing social tensions, rather than providing accurate cultural documentation or genuine entertainment value. The specific focus on New Jersey as a source of cultural contamination revealed the creators' awareness of how geographical stereotyping operated within American popular culture. The resolution of the Jersey Shore conflict, through Kyle's transformation into Jersey personality, created satirical commentary about cultural assimilation, peer pressure, and the ways that media-driven behavioral models could influence individual identity development even among people who initially resisted their appeal. This psychological realism demonstrated the creator's understanding of how celebrity culture could operate as genuine cultural influence rather than simple entertainment content. The social media influencer phenomenon that emerged in later seasons presented South Park with entirely new categories of celebrity that required innovative satirical approaches due to their direct relationship with audience members and their dependence on algorithmic systems rather than traditional entertainment industry gatekeepers. The creators' recognition that these new celebrity types represented fundamental shifts in how fame operated demonstrated their continued ability to identify and respond to emerging cultural trends. The specific targeting of Logan Paul and similar YouTube personalities revealed the creators' understanding that social media celebrity involved different psychological and commercial dynamics than traditional entertainment. Celebrity, with influencers maintaining more intimate relationships with their audiences, while simultaneously exploiting those relationships for commercial purposes in ways that traditional celebrities could not achieve through conventional media platforms. The Prime Energy drink controversy that provided framework for Logan Paul's satirical commentary demonstrated the creators' sophisticated understanding of how social media celebrities could monetize their audience relationships through product promotion that blurred traditional boundaries between entertainment content and commercial advertising in ways that potentially exploited audience trust and parasocial relationship dynamics for financial gain. The ethical implications of marketing adult products to child audiences through celebrity endorsement provided opportunities for satirical commentary about corporate responsibility, regulatory oversight, and the ways that technological innovation could create new forms of commercial exploitation that operated beyond existing consumer protection frameworks and cultural understanding of appropriate marketing practices. The broader cultural implications of influencer celebrity culture revealed through South Park's satirical commentary addressed fundamental questions about authenticity, commercialization, and the ways that technological platforms could reshape human relationships and social interaction patterns in ways that served corporate interests, while potentially undermining individual psychological development and community social cohesion. The evolution of South Park's approach to reality television and social media celebrity destruction demonstrated the creators' growing sophistication in understanding how different types of celebrity culture required different satirical techniques and commentary approaches. Their willingness to adapt their satirical methods based on changing technological and cultural circumstances revealed their commitment to using satirical platforms for genuine cultural criticism rather than simply maintaining established satirical formulas, regardless of their continued relevance or effectiveness. The psychological insights revealed through reality, television, and social media celebrity destructions illuminated fundamental questions about human nature, technological influence, and cultural responsibility that extended far beyond individual celebrity cases to encompass broader issues about how contemporary society organized itself around attention-based rather than achievement-based reward systems. The creators' sophisticated understanding of these dynamics enabled them to create satirical commentary that served educational as well as entertainment purposes, using individual celebrity destructions as case studies in broader patterns of cultural behavior and technological influence that might otherwise remain hidden from public scrutiny or critical examination. The prophetic elements of South Park's reality television and social media celebrity commentary, particularly their accurate predictions about the long-term cultural impact of attention-based celebrity models, demonstrated the creators' remarkable ability to identify emerging cultural trends and understand their potential consequences before those consequences became obvious to broader cultural observers. This predictive capability elevated their satirical commentary beyond simple entertainment or cultural criticism into genuine sociological analysis and cultural forecasting that provided valuable insights into American society's evolving relationship with fame, technology, and commercial exploitation of human psychology for entertainment and profit purposes. In the hallowed pantheon of American cultural mythology, where athletic achievement serves as both entertainment spectacle and moral instruction for millions of devoted followers, South Park discovered a particularly rich vein of satirical opportunity within the systematic destruction of sports heroes, whose carefully constructed public personas masked fundamental character flaws, ethical compromises, and psychological dysfunction that revealed the profound contradictions between athletic excellence and moral authority in contemporary society. The creators' willingness to attack even the most beloved athletic figures demonstrated their understanding that true satirical courage required challenging not just entertainment celebrities, but the very foundations of hero worship and cultural reverence that surrounded athletic achievement. In American popular culture, the athletic hero destruction framework that South Park developed over multiple seasons revealed sophisticated understanding of how sports celebrity operated differently from other forms of fame, with athletic accomplishment serving as a form of moral immunity that protected sports figures from the kind of scrutiny that entertainment celebrities routinely faced, despite often engaging in similar or more problematic behavior patterns. The creators' systematic approach to exposing this double standard created opportunities for cultural commentary that extended far beyond individual athlete criticism into broader questions about cultural values, institutional corruption, and the ways that physical achievement could be weaponized to obscure moral failing and ethical compromise. Tiger Woods' destruction through the sex addiction parody represented perhaps South Park's most sophisticated examination of how athletic excellence could be used to rationalize and excuse personal behavior that would be condemned in non-athletic contexts, creating a form of celebrity protection that operated through public investment in maintaining heroic narratives, regardless of contradictory evidence about actual character and personal conduct. The creator's decision to focus on the absurdity of sex addiction as a medical explanation for infidelity revealed their understanding of how psychological medicalization could serve as moral escape mechanism for wealthy and powerful individuals seeking to avoid accountability for their personal choices. The specific techniques employed in the Woods destruction demonstrated the creator's ability to use individual celebrity cases as frameworks for examining broader cultural patterns and institutional practices that protected certain types of problematic behavior. The video game format that provided structure for the Woods episodes created opportunities for satirical commentary about media representation, commercial exploitation, and the ways that athletic celebrity could be transformed into entertainment content that sanitized rather than accurately represented the complex reality of athletic personalities and their personal lives. The psychological profile that emerged from Woods' satirical portrayal revealed someone whose athletic success had created psychological and social circumstances that made normal relationship development and moral decision-making increasingly difficult. The athletic hero, the show's willingness to suggest that athletic excellence could actually corrupt rather than ennoble character development, provided counter-narrative to conventional wisdom about sports participation and competitive achievement as inherently beneficial for personal growth and moral development. The sex addiction treatment center scenario that provided framework for Woods-related comedy created opportunities for broader satirical commentary about wealth-based medical care, psychological diagnosis as legal defense strategy, and the ways that certain forms of therapeutic intervention could serve commercial rather than healing purposes. The collaboration between Woods and other wealthy celebrities in seeking medical rather than moral explanations for their behavior revealed the creator's understanding of how economic privilege could be used to transform personal accountability issues into medical treatment opportunities. The alien conspiracy resolution that concluded Woods' satirical story arc demonstrated the creator's willingness to use absurdist explanations as vehicles for commenting on the inherent absurdity of attempting to medicalize what were essentially moral and character issues rather than genuine psychological or physiological problems requiring professional treatment. This approach revealed their sophisticated understanding of how satirical exaggeration could serve truth-telling purposes by highlighting the ridiculous aspects of real-world rationalization and excuse-making patterns. The steroid-era baseball players who attracted South Park's satirical attention provided opportunities to examine systematic institutional corruption within professional sports and the ways that performance enhancement could compromise not just athletic competition but broader cultural understanding of achievement, fairness, and moral authority within competitive contexts. The creator's decision to target Mark McGuire, Barry Bonds, and other prominent figures revealed their understanding that individual athlete problems often reflected broader systemic issues within sports organizations and cultural institutions. The Special Olympics framework that provided structure for steroid-related satirical commentary created opportunities to examine the relationship between different types of athletic achievement and their moral implications, with the creators using the contrast between enhanced and natural performance to comment on fairness, authenticity, and the ethical boundaries of competitive advantage seeking within sports contexts. The specific focus on Jimmy's moral awakening about steroid use provided character development opportunities that elevated the satirical commentary beyond simple athlete mockery into genuine exploration of ethical decision-making. Under competitive pressure, the psychological realism of the steroid user's defensive behavior and rationalization patterns created satirical commentary that operated as genuine character study as well as cultural criticism, revealing how competitive pressure and economic incentives could corrupt individual moral reasoning and create self-justification patterns that enabled ongoing unethical behavior. Despite awareness of its problematic nature, the show's willingness to examine these psychological dynamics through satirical means provided insights into human nature and moral decision-making that extended far beyond sport-specific contexts. The lasting cultural impact of the steroid-era satirical commentary extended beyond immediate comedic effect to influence broader conversations about performance enhancement, competitive fairness, and institutional responsibility within professional sports organizations. The creator's ability to identify and articulate the moral problems associated with systematic performance enhancement before those problems became widely acknowledged within sports journalism and fan discourse demonstrated their sophisticated understanding of how competitive dynamics could corrupt institutional practices and cultural values. Tom Brady's treatment within South Park's satirical framework revealed the creator's complex relationship with regional sports loyalty and their willingness to acknowledge how geographical bias could influence satirical, targeting, and commentary approaches, even when attempting to maintain objective standards for celebrity criticism and cultural analysis. The specific focus on Brady's alleged cheating behavior, rather than his athletic achievements, demonstrated their understanding that satirical sports commentary needed to address character and ethical issues, rather than simply mocking athletic performance or competitive success. The Deflategate controversy that provided material for Brady-related satirical commentary created opportunities to examine institutional corruption, regulatory inconsistency, and the ways that competitive advantage seeking could operate within legal gray areas that challenged traditional understanding of cheating and fair play within professional sports contexts. The creators' approach to these issues revealed their sophisticated understanding of how rule interpretation and enforcement could be influenced by economic and political considerations, rather than purely competitive or ethical factors. The psychological profile that emerged from Brady's satirical portrayal suggested someone whose competitive success had created psychological investment in winning that transcended normal ethical boundaries and created rationalization, patterns that enabled ongoing rule-bending behavior, despite awareness of its questionable nature. The show's focus on Brady's defensive responses to criticism, rather than his athletic accomplishments, revealed their understanding that certain types of competitive personality could become psychologically dependent on external validation and success maintenance regardless of the ethical costs involved. The Broncos fan perspective that informed much of Brady's satirical treatment acknowledged the creator's regional bias, while simultaneously attempting to use that bias as a lens for examining broader patterns of fan psychology, regional loyalty, and the ways that geographical identity could influence perception of athletic fairness and competitive legitimacy. This self-aware approach to biased commentary demonstrated sophisticated understanding of how personal investment in sports outcomes could affect objective analysis, while still providing valuable insights into cultural dynamics and human psychology. The fecal matter trading scenario that provided framework for Brady's most elaborate satirical destruction created opportunities for commentary about health culture, performance optimization, and the ways that competitive advantage seeking could extend into increasingly bizarre and potentially dangerous territory when normal ethical and practical boundaries were abandoned in pursuit of superior athletic performance. The Dune parody elements elevated individual athlete satire into broader science fiction commentary about resource scarcity, competitive desperation, and social organization around scarce valuable commodities. Olympic athletes' treatment within South Park's satirical universe demonstrated the creator's understanding that different types of athletic achievement carried different cultural significance and required different approaches to satirical commentary based on their relationship to commercial entertainment versus pure competitive excellence. The specific targeting of figure skaters, gymnasts, and other Olympic performers revealed their awareness of how Olympic sports occupied unique cultural territory that combined athletic achievement with artistic expression and international political representation. Brian Boitano's elevation to mythical status rather than satirical destruction established the template for how Olympic athlete treatment would differ from professional sports celebrity handling, with Olympic achievement serving as source of cultural reverence rather than satirical target due to its association with national pride and international competition rather than commercial entertainment and individual wealth accumulation. This distinction revealed the creator's sophisticated understanding of how different types of athletic achievement served different cultural functions and therefore warranted different satirical approaches. The psychology of athletic hero worship that emerged through various sports-related satirical episodes provided opportunities for broader cultural commentary about American values, achievement recognition, and the ways that physical competition could serve as proxy for moral and cultural superiority within competitive social contexts. The creator's willingness to examine these dynamics through satirical means created opportunities for cultural discourse about the relationship between athletic achievement and character development that challenged conventional wisdom about sports participation as inherently beneficial for personal and social development. Sports media personalities who attracted South Park's satirical attention revealed the creator's understanding that contemporary sports culture was shaped as much by commentary and analysis figures as by actual athletes and competitive events, with media personalities serving crucial roles in constructing and maintaining heroic narratives around athletic achievement, while potentially serving commercial rather than informational purposes in their coverage approaches and analytical frameworks. The specific targeting of sports journalists, commentators, and analysis personalities demonstrated the creator's recognition that sports media often operated as promotional rather than critical institution, with coverage serving to enhance, rather than examine athletic, celebrity, and competitive achievement, in ways that potentially corrupted journalistic integrity and public understanding of sports culture and its broader social implications. The techniques developed for sports media personality destruction focused on performative aspects of sports commentary and the ways that media figures could manipulate athletic narratives for personal advancement and commercial purposes, rather than genuine informational or analytical goals. This approach revealed the creator's sophisticated understanding of how sports media operated as entertainment industry rather than news organization, with coverage serving commercial rather than educational or informational purposes in many contemporary contexts. The evolution of South Park's sports celebrity satirical commentary, from relatively gentle mockery of individual athletes to systematic critique of sports institutions and media systems, demonstrated the creator's growing sophistication in understanding how athletic culture operated within broader entertainment and commercial frameworks. Their willingness to expand satirical scope beyond individual athletic celebrities to encompass institutional practices and cultural patterns revealed their commitment to using satirical platforms for genuine cultural education and social commentary, rather than simple entertainment or personal attack content. The lasting impact of South Park's sports celebrity satirical commentary on both individual athletic careers and broader sports culture discourse demonstrated the significant cultural influence that animated satirical platforms could achieve when they successfully identified and exposed genuine contradictions within athletic behavior and institutional practices. The feedback loops between satirical attack and real-world sports industry consequences created dynamic relationships between animated criticism and actual cultural change that revealed the power of satirical commentary to influence athletic behavior and public understanding of sports culture through the simple expedient of making certain types of athletic hypocrisy and institutional corruption sufficiently ridiculous to become culturally unsustainable and socially unacceptable within contemporary American sports discourse and fan culture expectations. In the sprawling landscape of manufactured authority and artificial expertise that characterizes contemporary media culture, where carefully constructed personas serve as shields against genuine scrutiny, while self-appointed cultural gatekeepers manipulate public discourse for personal advancement and commercial gain, South Park discovered perhaps its most philosophically rich territory for satirical exploration within the systematic destruction of talk show hosts, media personalities, and self-proclaimed experts whose influence on American cultural understanding far exceeded their actual qualifications or genuine expertise. The creators' willingness to attack even the most beloved and seemingly benevolent media figures demonstrated their understanding that true satirical courage required challenging not just obvious targets, but the very foundations of mediated authority and the cultural mechanisms through which certain individuals achieve disproportionate influence over public opinion and social understanding. The talk show and media landscape destruction framework that South Park developed revealed sophisticated understanding of how media authority operated through carefully constructed relationships between hosts and audiences that created illusions of intimacy and trust while serving primarily commercial rather than educational or informational purposes. The creators' systematic approach to exposing the manipulative aspects of various media formats created opportunities for cultural commentary that extended far beyond individual personality criticism into broader questions about media, literacy, institutional responsibility, and the ways that entertainment content disguised as information could shape public understanding of complex social and personal issues. Oprah Winfrey's destruction through the anatomical parody episodes represented perhaps South Park's most audacious attempt to challenge one of America's most beloved and culturally influential media figures, creating a form of satirical commentary that operated simultaneously as juvenile humor and sophisticated critique of celebrity authority, media manipulation, and the ways that entertainment content could masquerade as spiritual or educational guidance while serving primarily commercial purposes. The decision to focus on Winfrey's physical anatomy rather than her media content or cultural influence initially appeared to represent a retreat into adolescent comedy, but the sustained development of the anatomical characters revealed deeper satirical intentions. The genius of the Oprah destruction lay in its recognition that her cultural authority depended on maintaining careful balance between accessibility and aspiration, presenting herself as simultaneously relatable to ordinary audiences and superior in wisdom and lifestyle achievements. The anatomical parody disrupted this balance by reducing her to basic biological functions, while simultaneously granting those functions independent agency and personality, creating a form of satirical commentary that questioned the constructed nature of media personality and the arbitrary relationship between physical presence and cultural authority. The specific development of the vagina and anus characters as independent entities with their own desires, motivations, and relationship dynamics created opportunities for broader satirical commentary about the relationship between public persona and private reality, the ways that media figures could become disconnected from their own authentic desires and needs through the demands of maintaining public image and commercial success. The police standoff scenario that provided climactic resolution for the anatomical storyline elevated the parody beyond simple sexual humor into genuine tragedy about the psychological costs of celebrity and media attention. The psychological realism of the anatomical character's desperation for attention and recognition mirrored broader patterns within celebrity culture, where individual identity could become fragmented and alienated through the demands of maintaining public persona and commercial viability. The creator's willingness to suggest that even beloved media figures like Winfrey might suffer psychological damage from sustained public attention demonstrated their sophisticated understanding of fame's potential costs, regardless of its apparent benefits or positive cultural impact. The lasting cultural impact of the Winfrey destruction extended beyond immediate comedic effect to influence broader conversations about media authority, celebrity culture, and the ways that entertainment content could shape public understanding of personal development, spiritual growth, and social responsibility. The show's willingness to examine these issues through satirical means created opportunities for cultural discourse that challenged conventional assumptions about media benevolence and educational value within contemporary American cultural discourse. Dr. Phil McGraw's destruction through the exploitation parody episodes revealed South Park's sophisticated understanding of how therapeutic authority could be weaponized for entertainment purposes in ways that potentially harmed vulnerable individuals while serving commercial rather than healing objectives. The creator's decision to focus on McGraw's treatment of Butters rather than his general television persona created opportunities for satirical commentary about the ethics of public therapy, the commercialization of psychological services, and the ways that media platforms could corrupt professional relationships and therapeutic boundaries. The specific portrayal of McGraw as someone who deliberately provoked emotional distress in vulnerable individuals for entertainment value created a form of satirical commentary that operated as genuine ethical criticism rather than simple celebrity mockery. The show's willingness to suggest that certain forms of television therapy represented exploitation rather than treatment challenged conventional assumptions about media psychology and raised important questions about professional responsibility within entertainment contexts. The psychological realism of Butters' response to McGraw's treatment created opportunities for broader commentary about childhood vulnerability, adult responsibility, and the ways that therapeutic authority could be misused to justify harmful behavior toward individuals who lacked the psychological resources or social power necessary to resist exploitation. The creator's focus on the victim's experience, rather than the perpetrator's motivations, revealed their sophisticated understanding of how power dynamics operated within supposedly helpful professional relationships. The escalation of McGraw's portrayed behavior from inappropriate therapy to active sadism demonstrated the creator's understanding that certain forms of media exploitation represented genuine abuse rather than simple professional misconduct, with the entertainment value derived from audience vicarious participation in the humiliation and suffering of vulnerable individuals seeking help for legitimate psychological and social problems. The broader implications of the McGraw destruction extended beyond individual criticism to encompass systematic problems within television therapy formats and the ways that psychological expertise could be commercialized in ways that served entertainment rather than healing purposes. The creator's willingness to examine these issues through satirical means provided insights into professional ethics and media responsibility that might not have emerged through more conventional forms of criticism or academic commentary. John Edwards' destruction as the biggest douche in the universe represented perhaps South Park's most philosophically sophisticated and morally urgent satirical intervention, addressing fundamental questions about truth, exploitation, and the ethical responsibilities that accompanied claims to supernatural knowledge or ability. The creator's systematic demolition of Edwards' psychic medium practices created a form of satirical commentary that operated simultaneously as entertainment and genuine public service, using animated platforms to expose fraudulent practices that caused real harm to vulnerable individuals seeking connection with deceased loved ones. The genius of the Edward destruction lay in its educational approach to satirical commentary, with the episodes serving as masterclasses in critical thinking and fraud detection, while maintaining entertainment value necessary for broad audience engagement. The specific focus on cold reading techniques and psychological manipulation methods provided viewers with practical knowledge that could help them avoid similar exploitation, while simultaneously creating comedy through Edwards' defensive responses to exposure. The psychological profile that emerged from Edwards' satirical portrayal revealed someone whose financial success depended on maintaining willful blindness about the harmful impact of his practices on grieving individuals seeking comfort and connection with deceased family members and friends. The show's focus on Edwards' self-justification patterns and defensive responses to criticism demonstrated sophisticated understanding of how fraudulent practices could be maintained through psychological defense mechanisms that protected practitioners from acknowledging the ethical implications of their behavior. The cold reading demonstration sequences that provided educational framework for Edwards' destruction created opportunities for broader satirical commentary about media literacy, critical thinking, and the psychological vulnerabilities that made certain individuals susceptible to exploitation by self-proclaimed experts and spiritual authorities. The creator's willingness to provide detailed explanations of manipulative techniques while maintaining satirical entertainment value demonstrated their commitment to using animated platforms for genuine public education rather than simple celebrity mockery. The biggest douche in the universe awards ceremony that provided climactic resolution for Edwards' satirical destruction elevated individual criticism into cosmic commentary about the relative harmfulness of different types of exploitative behavior across multiple species and civilizations. This absurdist framework allowed the creators to make serious points about moral hierarchy and ethical responsibility while maintaining the entertainment value necessary for effective satirical commentary. The space alien judge's recognition of Edward as particularly deserving of condemnation despite competition from genocidal dictators and literal giant douches created satirical commentary about the special moral status of exploitation that targeted grieving individuals and the ways that claiming supernatural authority could amplify the harmfulness of already problematic behavior patterns. The creator's willingness to suggest that psychic fraud represented a form of evil that transcended typical celebrity bad behavior demonstrated their sophisticated understanding of how different types of harmful conduct affected vulnerable populations. The late-night television personalities who attracted South Park's satirical attention revealed the creators' understanding that contemporary cultural discourse was shaped significantly by comedy and entertainment figures whose influence on public opinion and social understanding often exceeded that of traditional news sources or educational institutions. The specific targeting of figures who combined entertainment with political commentary created opportunities for satirical examination of how humor could be weaponized for ideological purposes, while maintaining plausible deniability about partisan advocacy or political manipulation. The techniques developed for late-night personality destruction focused on the gap between presented persona and actual personality, with satirical attacks targeting the constructed nature of television, humor, and the ways that entertainment figures could manipulate audience relationships for purposes that extended beyond simple comedy into genuine political influence and cultural manipulation. This approach demonstrated the creators' sophisticated understanding of how contemporary media operated as integrated entertainment and information systems rather than clearly separated domains. News anchors and journalism personalities, who became targets of South Park's media destruction, represented the creators' engagement with questions about journalistic integrity, media bias, and the ways that news presentation could serve commercial rather than informational purposes, while claiming moral authority based on professional expertise and institutional affiliation. The specific approaches developed for different types of news figures revealed their understanding of how various media roles serve different functions within contemporary information ecosystems. The manufactured authority that characterized many media personalities provided rich material for satirical commentary about expertise, credibility, and the ways that television presence and communication skills could substitute for genuine knowledge or professional competence within media contexts that prioritized entertainment value over accuracy or educational content. The creators' willingness to examine these dynamics through satirical means created opportunities for media literacy education that challenged conventional assumptions about journalistic authority and institutional credibility. The psychic and supernatural expert destruction that extended beyond individual figures like Edward to encompass broader categories of self-proclaimed spiritual authorities revealed the creator's systematic approach to exposing fraudulent expertise and the ways that claims to special knowledge could be used to exploit vulnerable individuals seeking answers to fundamental questions about existence, meaning, and mortality that legitimate institutions often fail to address adequately. The specific techniques employed in supernatural expert destruction focused on the gap between claimed abilities and demonstrated results, with satirical attacks targeting the logical inconsistencies and practical failures that characterized most paranormal claims, while simultaneously examining the psychological needs that made such claims appealing to certain individuals, despite obvious evidence of their fraudulent nature. The media manipulation themes that emerged through various talk show and media personality destructions provided opportunities for broader cultural commentary about information literacy, critical thinking, and the ways that entertainment content could shape public understanding of complex personal and social issues through emotional manipulation, rather than rational analysis or evidence-based reasoning. The evolution of South Park's media landscape, satirical commentary from individual personality attacks to systematic critique of media institutions and information systems, demonstrated the creators' growing sophistication in understanding how contemporary culture operated through integrated entertainment and information networks that served commercial rather than educational purposes, while claiming moral authority based on professional expertise and institutional credibility. The lasting impact of South Park's media personality satirical commentary on both individual careers and broader media industry practices demonstrated the significant cultural influence that animated satirical platforms could achieve when they successfully identified and exposed genuine contradictions within media behavior and institutional practices. The feedback loops between satirical attack and real-world media consequences created dynamic relationships between animated criticism and actual industry change that revealed the power of satirical commentary to influence media, behavior, and public understanding through the simple expedient of making certain types of media manipulation and fraudulent expertise sufficiently ridiculous to become professionally unsustainable and culturally unacceptable within contemporary American media discourse and audience expectation. Frameworks. In the emerging pantheon of 21st century villainy, where traditional forms of power and influence have been supplanted by technological innovation and algorithmic manipulation, South Park discovered perhaps its most prescient and culturally significant territory for satirical exploration within the systematic destruction of business moguls and technology titans whose unprecedented wealth and social influence created entirely new categories of celebrity that demanded innovative approaches to satirical commentary and character assassination. The creators' recognition that these figures represented fundamental shifts in how power operated within contemporary society demonstrated their sophisticated understanding of how celebrity culture would need to evolve to address the unique psychological profiles and cultural impact of individuals whose influence extended far beyond entertainment into the basic infrastructure of modern life. The business mogul and technology celebrity destruction framework that South Park developed revealed the creators' understanding that traditional satirical approaches needed modification to address figures whose power derived from systemic control rather than personal charisma or artistic achievement. The specific techniques they developed for targeting tech billionaires and corporate leaders created opportunities for satirical commentary that operated simultaneously as entertainment and genuine economic criticism, using individual personality destruction as a vehicle for examining broader questions about wealth concentration, technological influence, and corporate responsibility within contemporary capitalist systems. Steve Jobs' destruction through the human centipede parody represented perhaps South Park's most psychologically complex and philosophically rich examination of how technological innovation could be weaponized to serve ego, gratification rather than genuine human benefit, creating a form of satirical commentary that operated on multiple levels simultaneously while revealing profound insights about corporate culture, consumer manipulation, and the relationship between technological capability and moral responsibility. The decision to transform Jobs into a literal mad scientist whose pursuit of innovation justified horrific human experimentation created metaphorical framework for examining how technological progress could serve pathological rather than beneficial purposes. The genius of the Jobs destruction lay in its recognition that his cultural authority depended on maintaining careful balance between technological mystique and accessible consumer benefit, presenting Apple products as simultaneously revolutionary and user-friendly, while concealing the psychological manipulation and planned obsolescence that characterized much of the company's business strategy. The human centipede metaphor disrupted this balance by literalizing the exploitative relationship between technology companies and their customers, while simultaneously revealing the sadistic pleasure that certain types of Innovation-obsessed personalities could derive from exercising control over other human beings. The specific portrayal of Jobs as someone whose commitment to innovation transcended normal ethical boundaries created opportunities for broader satirical commentary about corporate culture, technological determinism, and the ways that business success could be used to justify increasingly extreme behavior toward employees, customers, and competitors. The show's focus on his personal psychology, rather than his professional achievements, revealed their understanding that certain types of business success could reflect psychological pathology rather than genuine competence or cultural contribution. The psychological profile that emerged from Jobs' satirical portrayal suggested someone whose need for control and recognition had created a worldview in which other human beings existed primarily as materials for technological experimentation and ego gratification, rather than as individuals, deserving of respect and consideration. The creator's willingness to suggest that his acclaimed design, sense, and business acumen might reflect manipulative rather than creative abilities demonstrated their sophisticated understanding of how certain types of corporate success could mask, rather than reveal genuine innovation or cultural benefit. The consumer manipulation themes that informed Jobs' destruction provided opportunities for broader satirical commentary about marketing, psychology, brand loyalty, and the ways that technological products could be designed to create dependency and compulsive consumption, rather than genuine utility or user empowerment. The human centipede metaphor served as perfect representation of how consumer technology could create degrading relationships between users and devices while maintaining illusions of choice and control. The lasting cultural impact of the Jobs' destruction extended beyond immediate comedic effect to influence broader conversations about technological ethics, corporate responsibility, and the ways that innovation narratives could be used to obscure exploitative business practices and manipulative design philosophies. The show's willingness to examine these issues during Jobs' lifetime and at the height of his cultural influence demonstrated remarkable, satirical courage and prophetic understanding of how technological celebrity would evolve to encompass unprecedented forms of social control and cultural manipulation. Mark Zuckerberg's destruction through the robotic villain parody revealed South Park's sophisticated understanding of how social media platforms could serve as vehicles for systematic human psychological manipulation. While their creators maintained plausible deniability about their intentions and awareness of the harmful consequences of their technological innovations. The decision to portray Zuckerberg as literally inhuman, rather than simply socially awkward, created satirical commentary about the psychological profile required to create and maintain systems that profited from human social dysfunction and interpersonal conflict. The specific techniques employed in the Zuckerberg destruction focused on his apparent inability to understand or care about the human impact of his technological creations, with satirical attacks targeting the disconnect between his claimed intentions to connect humanity and the actual effects of social media platforms on individual psychology and social cohesion. The robotic characterization served as perfect metaphor for someone whose relationship to other human beings appeared to be primarily analytical and manipulative rather than empathetic or caring. The Kung Fu movie dialogue patterns that provided framework for Zuckerberg's speech created opportunities for satirical commentary about the artificial and scripted nature of his public presentations and the ways that technology executives could use pseudo-philosophical language to obscure the commercial motivations behind their product development and business strategy decisions. The creator's focus on his communication style rather than his technological achievements, revealed their understanding that certain types of business success depended more on manipulation than innovation. The psychological realism of Zuckerberg's portrayed indifference to human suffering and social dysfunction created satirical commentary that operated as genuine character study, as well as cultural criticism, revealing how extreme wealth and technological power could create psychological conditions that enabled increasingly harmful behavior toward other human beings without generating appropriate guilt or self-reflection about the consequences of business decisions and technological implementations. The fake news manipulation storyline that provided climactic framework for Zuckerberg's destruction created opportunities for broader satirical commentary about information warfare, algorithmic manipulation, and the ways that social media platforms could be weaponized to undermine democratic discourse and social cohesion while maintaining claims about serving communication and connection purposes. The creators' willingness to suggest that these harmful effects were intentional rather than accidental demonstrated their sophisticated understanding of how technological systems could serve political and commercial manipulation purposes. The systematic nature of Facebook's portrayed manipulation revealed the creators' understanding that individual technology executives represented broader, systemic problems within digital capitalism that required comprehensive rather than isolated satirical attention. Their willingness to examine not just Zuckerberg's personal characteristics but the institutional structures and commercial incentives that enabled his behavior demonstrated their commitment to using satirical platforms for genuine economic and political criticism rather than simple, personality-based entertainment. Jeff Bezos's destruction through the supervillain parody episodes represented South Park's most direct engagement with questions about wealth inequality, worker exploitation, and corporate responsibility within contemporary American capitalism, creating a form of satirical commentary that used science fiction imagery and narrative structures to examine real-world economic relationships and labor practices that might otherwise remain hidden from public scrutiny or critical examination. The decision to portray Bezos as literally telepathic and physically transformed by extreme wealth created metaphorical framework for understanding how unprecedented economic power could corrupt human psychology and social relationships. The genius of the Bezos destruction lay in its recognition that his cultural impact extended far beyond traditional celebrity into fundamental restructuring of American economic relationships, with Amazon serving as both convenient consumer service and systematic destruction of local business ecosystems and traditional employment relationships. The supervillain characterization provided perfect vehicle for examining how corporate efficiency and consumer convenience could mask exploitative labor practices and monopolistic business strategies that harmed workers and communities while benefiting shareholders and executives. The specific portrayal of Bezos as someone whose pursuit of business efficiency justified increasingly extreme treatment of employees and competitors created opportunities for satirical commentary about late-stage capitalism, worker rights, and the ways that technological innovation could be used to intensify rather than alleviate human labor and economic inequality. The show's focus on his personal transformation through wealth accumulation revealed their understanding that extreme economic success could create psychological conditions that enabled systematic cruelty and social indifference. The workplace accident scenarios that provided material for Amazon-related satirical commentary created opportunities for broader examination of corporate safety practices, worker disposability, and the ways that efficiency optimization could prioritize package delivery speed over human welfare and basic safety considerations. The creators' willingness to suggest that worker deaths were acceptable costs of business operation demonstrated their sophisticated understanding of how corporate profit maximization could corrupt moral reasoning and social responsibility. The psychological profile that emerged from Bezos's satirical portrayal revealed someone whose business success had created worldview in which other human beings existed primarily as resources for wealth generation rather than as individuals deserving of basic dignity and fair treatment. The telepathic abilities served as metaphor for his apparent ability to anticipate and manipulate consumer desires while remaining completely indifferent to the human costs of fulfilling those desires through exploitative labor practices and monopolistic business strategies. The mayor intimidation scenes that characterized Bezos's interactions with local government officials created satirical commentary about corporate political influence and the ways that extreme wealth could be used to circumvent democratic decision-making processes and community self-determination. The creator's focus on his threats and economic blackmail revealed their understanding of how corporate power could undermine local autonomy and democratic governance through economic dependency and political manipulation. The evolution from traditional celebrity to tech celebrity that these destructions documented revealed fundamental shifts in how power and influence operated within contemporary American society, with technological innovation and wealth accumulation replacing artistic achievement or political authority as primary sources of cultural impact and social control. The creator's recognition of these changes and their development of appropriate satirical responses demonstrated their continued relevance as cultural critics and their ability to adapt their satirical techniques to address emerging forms of celebrity and social influence. The corporate responsibility themes that emerged through various business mogul destructions provided opportunities for broader cultural commentary about capitalism, regulation, and the ways that private enterprise could serve or undermine broader social interests, depending on the psychological characteristics and moral commitments of individual leaders and the institutional structures within which they operated. The creator's willingness to examine these issues through satirical means created opportunities for economic discourse that challenged conventional assumptions about business success and social benefit. The technological determinism critique that ran throughout tech celebrity destructions revealed the creator's sophisticated understanding of how innovation narratives could be used to obscure human agency and moral responsibility, with technological progress serving as justification for social changes that primarily benefited wealthy individuals and corporations while imposing costs on workers, consumers, and communities that lacked sufficient economic or political power to resist exploitation. The psychological insights revealed through business mogul and tech titan destructions illuminated fundamental questions about wealth, power, and human nature that extended far beyond individual celebrity cases to encompass broader issues about how contemporary society organized itself around technological innovation and wealth accumulation rather than human welfare and social cohesion. The creator's sophisticated understanding of these dynamics enabled them to create satirical commentary that served educational as well as entertainment purposes, using individual celebrity destructions as case studies in broader patterns of economic behavior and technological influence that might otherwise remain hidden from public scrutiny or critical examination due to their systematic nature and the powerful interests that benefited from maintaining public ignorance about their operations and consequences. In the complex tapestry of global celebrity culture, where American satirical commentary must navigate the treacherous waters of international relations, cultural sensitivity, and cross-cultural misunderstanding, South Park discovered perhaps its most diplomatically dangerous and philosophically challenging territory for celebrity destruction within the systematic targeting of foreign celebrities and cultural figures whose fame transcended national boundaries to create opportunities for satirical exploration that could influence international perceptions and cultural relationships far beyond simple entertainment consumption. The creators' willingness to attack international celebrities demonstrated their understanding that true satirical courage required challenging not just domestic cultural figures, but the very foundations of cultural diplomacy and international celebrity worship that shaped global relationships and cross-cultural understanding. The international celebrity destruction framework that South Park developed revealed sophisticated understanding of how foreign fame operated differently from domestic celebrity culture, with international figures serving dual functions as entertainment, personalities, and cultural ambassadors, whose treatment by American satirical media could influence broader diplomatic relationships and international cultural perceptions. The creators' systematic approach to targeting foreign celebrities created opportunities for cultural commentary that operated simultaneously as entertainment and genuine international relations criticism, using individual personality destruction as a vehicle for examining broader questions about cultural imperialism, stereotyping, and the ways that satirical representation could reinforce or challenge existing power dynamics between nations and cultural groups. Celine Dion's early appearance in South Park's Canadian-focused episodes established the template for how international celebrities would be incorporated into the show's satirical universe, with her treatment revealing the creator's understanding that foreign celebrities could serve as representatives of broader cultural characteristics and national stereotypes, rather than simply individual personality targets. The decision to include her within the Canadian character design framework, rather than treating her as a unique international figure, demonstrated their approach to cultural representation that prioritized satirical convenience over authentic cultural understanding or respectful international engagement. The specific techniques employed in Dion's portrayal created opportunities for satirical commentary about cultural differences, national identity, and the ways that international celebrity could serve as vehicle for expressing broader attitudes about foreign cultures and their relationship to American cultural dominance. The show's focus on her musical style and cultural presentation, rather than personal characteristics, revealed their understanding that international celebrity treatment needed to address cultural representation issues that domestic celebrity destruction could largely ignore. The psychological realism of Dion's portrayed behavior within the Canadian cultural context created satirical commentary that operated as both individual character study and broader cultural criticism, revealing how international celebrities could be used as proxies for examining American attitudes toward foreign cultures and the ways that cultural differences could be transformed into sources of humor rather than opportunities for genuine cross-cultural understanding and appreciation. The broader Canadian celebrity treatment that characterized many early international episodes provided opportunities for satirical commentary about cultural proximity and the ways that geographically close but culturally distinct societies could serve as safe targets for cultural criticism that might be more diplomatically dangerous when applied to more distant or politically sensitive international relationships. Saddam Hussein's transformation into a Canadian character rather than an authentic Iraqi political figure represented perhaps South Park's most complex and culturally problematic approach to international celebrity representation, creating a form of satirical commentary that simultaneously addressed American foreign policy attitudes while revealing the limitations of using satirical platforms to engage with serious international political issues and cultural conflicts. The decision to apply Canadian cultural characteristics to an Iraqi political leader created opportunities for examining American cultural imperialism and the ways that foreign figures could be domesticated through satirical representation that stripped away their authentic cultural context and political significance. The genius of the Hussein Canadian treatment lay in its recognition that American audiences required cultural translation mechanisms to engage with foreign political figures, with Canadian characteristics serving as familiar satirical framework that could make potentially threatening international personalities accessible to domestic comedic consumption. This approach revealed the creator's understanding of how satirical representation could serve cultural defense mechanisms that protected audiences from having to confront the genuine complexity and cultural authenticity of foreign political figures and international conflicts. The specific portrayal of Hussein as emotionally manipulative and psychologically abusive within his relationship with Satan created opportunities for broader satirical commentary about international relationships, cultural conflict, and the ways that American media could transform complex geopolitical situations into personal psychology narratives that avoided addressing systemic issues or historical context that might complicate simple good versus evil interpretations of international conflicts. The psychological profile that emerged from Hussein's satirical portrayal revealed someone whose political authority depended on emotional manipulation and psychological control, rather than legitimate governance or cultural leadership, creating a narrative framework that reinforced American assumptions about foreign political systems while avoiding serious examination of how American foreign policy might have contributed to international conflicts and political instability in other regions. The relationship dynamics between Hussein and Satan provided opportunities for satirical commentary about power, manipulation, and cultural conflict that operated through personal relationship metaphors rather than direct political analysis, allowing the creators to comment on international issues while maintaining plausible deniability about partisan political positions or foreign policy advocacy that might generate controversy or diplomatic complications. The Chinese leadership representation that emerged in later seasons revealed South Park's growing willingness to engage with economically and politically powerful international figures whose treatment could have genuine consequences for American business interests and diplomatic relationships. The specific approaches developed for Chinese political figures demonstrated the creator's understanding that certain international celebrities and political personalities required more careful satirical handling due to their nation's economic and political influence over American commercial and cultural interests. The Winnie the Pooh imagery that characterized Chinese leadership satirical representation created opportunities for examining censorship, political sensitivity, and the ways that seemingly innocent cultural references could become vehicles for international political criticism that transcended simple entertainment to influence actual diplomatic relationships and commercial arrangements between nations. The creator's willingness to use these references, despite potential economic consequences for their network and production company, demonstrated remarkable satirical courage in addressing international political issues. The cultural stereotyping elements that informed much of South Park's international celebrity treatment revealed both the creative possibilities and ethical problems associated with using foreign cultural characteristics as sources of satirical humor and commentary. The specific techniques employed for different cultural groups demonstrated varying levels of cultural awareness and sensitivity that reflected the creator's evolving understanding of how satirical representation could reinforce or challenge existing cultural prejudices and international misunderstanding. The language barrier humor that characterized many international celebrity appearances created opportunities for satirical commentary about communication, cultural difference, and the ways that linguistic diversity could serve as source of comedy, while potentially reinforcing assumptions about cultural superiority and the universality of American cultural perspectives and communication styles. The European celebrity treatment that appeared sporadically throughout various seasons revealed the creator's complex relationship with Western cultural authority and their willingness to examine how American cultural dominance operated in relation to other developed nations whose cultural contributions and international influence created different dynamics than those associated with developing nations or politically oppressed populations. The specific targeting of British celebrities and cultural figures demonstrated particular satirical approaches that acknowledged cultural similarity while emphasizing differences in class consciousness, political systems, and cultural attitudes that could serve as sources of humor and social commentary. The creators' handling of British cultural references revealed their sophisticated understanding of how cultural proximity could enable more nuanced satirical treatment than was possible with more culturally distant international figures. The royal family references that appeared in various episodes created opportunities for satirical commentary about inherited authority, cultural tradition, and the ways that monarchy systems could survive within democratic cultural contexts through celebrity transformation rather than genuine political authority. The creators' approach to royal family satirical representation revealed their understanding of how traditional political systems could adapt to contemporary media culture while maintaining cultural influence. The international music industry figures who attracted South Park's satirical attention revealed the creators' understanding that global entertainment culture created opportunities for celebrity destruction that transcended national boundaries, while potentially influencing international cultural relationships and commercial arrangements. The specific approaches developed for different international music celebrities demonstrated varying levels of cultural sensitivity and awareness of how satirical treatment could affect international cultural exchange and artistic collaboration. The Eurovision and International Music Competition references that provided framework for some international celebrity episodes created opportunities for satirical commentary about cultural competition, national pride, and the ways that international entertainment events could serve as venues for cultural diplomacy and soft power projection, rather than pure artistic expression or entertainment value. The global celebrity culture critique that emerged through various international celebrity destructions provided opportunities for broader cultural commentary about cultural imperialism, media dominance, and the ways that American satirical platforms could influence international cultural perceptions and celebrity treatment patterns in other nations and cultural contexts. The evolution of South Park's international celebrity satirical commentary from relatively simple cultural stereotyping to more sophisticated examination of global power dynamics and cultural relationships demonstrated the creators' growing awareness of their international influence and cultural responsibility as American satirical commentators whose work reached global audiences and could influence international perceptions of American cultural attitudes and values. The lasting impact of South Park's international celebrity satirical commentary on both individual foreign celebrities and broader international cultural relationships demonstrated the significant global influence that American satirical platforms could achieve when they successfully identified and exploited cultural differences and international tensions that resonated with both domestic and foreign audiences, seeking entertainment that addressed complex international relationships through accessible comedic frameworks. The cultural sensitivity questions that emerged through international celebrity destruction revealed ongoing tensions between satirical freedom and cultural responsibility that characterized much contemporary media production, with creators forced to balance entertainment value against potential diplomatic consequences and cultural harm that could result from insensitive or uninformed satirical treatment of foreign cultural figures and international political personalities whose representation could influence broader cultural understanding and international relationship development. In the delicate psychology of public humiliation and satirical assault, where the intersection of celebrity, ego, and creative destruction creates profound opportunities for understanding human nature. Under extreme cultural pressure, South Park's systematic documentation of celebrity reactions to their animated destruction revealed perhaps the most fascinating and psychologically rich aspects of contemporary fame culture. The spectrum of responses that emerged from targeted celebrities created an invaluable archive of human behavior under satirical attack that illuminated fundamental questions about ego, resilience, self-awareness, and the relationship between public persona and private psychological reality that extended far beyond simple entertainment into genuine anthropological and psychological research territory. The Brian Boitano paradigm established the gold standard for celebrity response to satirical attention, demonstrating how gracious acceptance and collaborative participation could transform potential reputation damage into lasting cultural legacy and commercial opportunity. His immediate embrace of his South Park portrayal revealed psychological security and self-awareness that enabled him to recognize satirical attention as cultural validation rather than personal attack, creating a response template that would prove remarkably difficult for subsequent celebrity targets to replicate despite its obvious effectiveness and positive outcomes. The psychological factors that enabled Boitano's successful navigation of satirical attention included genuine comfort with his own identity and achievements that provided immunity against external criticism or mockery, professional confidence based on authentic accomplishment rather than manufactured celebrity status, and sophisticated understanding of how satirical representation operated as cultural commentary rather than personal vendetta. His ability to maintain perspective about the relationship between animated parody and real-world identity demonstrated emotional maturity and psychological resilience that contrasted sharply with the defensive and often self-destructive responses that would characterize many subsequent celebrity targets. The commercial wisdom that informed Boitano's response strategy revealed his understanding that satirical attention created marketing opportunities rather than reputation threats for celebrities who could engage productively with their animated representations. His decision to profit from South Park merchandise while donating proceeds to charity demonstrated both business acumen and moral awareness that elevated his response beyond simple damage control into genuine cultural contribution and community service that enhanced rather than protected his public image. The lasting impact of Boitano's response strategy extended beyond individual reputation management to influence broader cultural understanding of how celebrities could and should engage with satirical representation. His example proved that satirical attention could be transformed into positive cultural legacy through appropriate response strategies. creating a template that subsequent celebrity targets consistently failed to follow, despite its demonstrated effectiveness and clear benefits for both individual reputation and broader cultural discourse. Tom Cruise's response to his South Park destruction represented the opposite extreme of celebrity reaction to satirical attention, demonstrating how defensive overreaction and legal intimidation could amplify rather than minimize the reputational damage associated with animated parody, while simultaneously providing additional material for ongoing satirical attack and cultural criticism. His alleged threats of legal action and pressure on network executives revealed psychological insecurity and institutional power that enabled him to attempt censorship rather than engagement as a response strategy to satirical criticism. The psychological profile that emerged from Cruise's defensive response patterns suggested someone whose public confidence masked fundamental insecurities about personal authenticity and social acceptance that made satirical attention particularly threatening to psychological stability and self-concept maintenance. His inability to laugh at himself or engage productively with satirical representation revealed personality characteristics that actually validated the original satirical attacks, while providing ongoing material for continued celebrity destruction across multiple episodes and seasons. The Scientology dimension of Cruise's response strategy created additional layers of complexity that transformed individual celebrity defense into institutional religious controversy with legal and commercial implications that extended far beyond typical entertainment industry disputes. His organization's alleged pressure tactics and litigation threats demonstrated how celebrity defense strategies could escalate into genuine censorship attempts that challenged satirical freedom and creative independence within entertainment production systems. The practical consequences of Cruise's defensive response strategy included sustained satirical attention that might have ended with single-episode treatment, ongoing cultural association with the satirical content that became permanently linked to his public image, and demonstration of psychological characteristics that actually confirmed, rather than refuted, the original satirical criticism about ego and self-awareness deficits. The legal intimidation tactics that allegedly accompanied Cruise's response efforts revealed how extreme wealth and institutional affiliation could be weaponized to suppress satirical criticism through economic pressure and litigation. Threats rather than engaging with criticism through direct response or behavioral modification. This approach demonstrated fundamental misunderstanding of how satirical commentary operated within cultural discourse and how defensive overreaction typically amplified rather than minimized reputational damage from comedic attack. The spectrum of celebrity reactions that emerged between the Boitano and Cruise extremes revealed the complex psychological and strategic factors that influenced how different personalities responded to satirical attention based on their individual security levels, professional confidence, cultural understanding, and strategic thinking about reputation management within contemporary media environments. The variation in response quality and effectiveness provided valuable insights into celebrity psychology and the relationship between public persona and private psychological reality. Celebrities who attempted middle ground approaches to South Park attention often achieved mixed results that reflected the difficulty of balancing defensive impulses with recognition that engagement might be more effective than resistance. The specific strategies employed by figures who tried to acknowledge satirical attention while maintaining dignity often revealed internal conflict between natural defensive responses and strategic recognition that cooperation might yield better outcomes than confrontation or silence. The psychological factors that influenced celebrity response choices included professional security, based on genuine achievement versus manufactured fame, personal comfort with identity and authenticity versus dependence on carefully constructed public image, understanding of satirical commentary as cultural discourse versus perception of personal attack requiring defensive response, and strategic thinking about long-term reputation management versus emotional reaction to immediate perceived insult or threat. The Chris Hansen example demonstrated how celebrities could acknowledge satirical attention with humor and perspective while maintaining professional dignity and personal boundaries. His recognition that South Park parody represented cultural recognition rather than personal attack enabled him to engage productively with satirical content while continuing his professional work without apparent negative impact on career, trajectory, or public standing. The Gordon Ramsay approach revealed how celebrities whose professional personas already incorporated self-awareness about their own extreme characteristics could navigate satirical attention more easily than those whose public images depended on maintaining serious or dignified presentations that conflicted with comedic representation. His comfort with his own aggressive cooking show personality provided natural immunity against satirical attack that targeted those same characteristics for comedic purposes. The psychological insights revealed through celebrity response analysis illuminated fundamental questions about ego, authenticity, and resilience under public scrutiny that extended beyond entertainment industry concerns into broader questions about human psychology and social behavior under pressure. The documented patterns of response, success, and failure provided valuable case studies in crisis management, reputation, defense, and the psychological characteristics that enabled effective navigation of public criticism and satirical attack. The career impact assessment that emerged from tracking long-term consequences of different response strategies revealed complex relationships between satirical attention and professional outcomes that defied simple predictions about reputation damage or career enhancement. Some celebrities experienced career benefits from satirical attention regardless of their response quality, while others suffered ongoing negative associations despite sophisticated response strategies and public relations efforts. The legal response patterns that characterized some celebrity reactions to South Park attention revealed important information about entertainment, industry, power dynamics, and the practical limitations of using legal intimidation to suppress satirical criticism within American free speech frameworks. The documented failures of legal threats and censorship attempts demonstrated the resilience of satirical commentary rights and the self-defeating nature of attempting to use legal pressure to control cultural discourse about public figures. The collaborative response model that emerged from celebrities who chose to work with South Park rather than against it created opportunities for mutually beneficial cultural production that enhanced rather than threatened individual reputations while providing high-quality entertainment content. The success of collaborative approaches demonstrated how satirical attention could be transformed into positive cultural legacy through appropriate engagement strategies and creative cooperation. The silence response strategy, employed by many celebrity targets, created its own category of reaction that often proved more effective than defensive overreaction, but less beneficial than active engagement. The psychological factors that led celebrities to choose silence over engagement often reflected combination of professional caution, personal discomfort, and strategic uncertainty about optimal response approaches rather than simple indifference to satirical attention. The evolution of celebrity response strategies over time reflected growing cultural awareness of South Park's influence and the development of more sophisticated approaches to managing satirical attention based on observed outcomes from previous celebrity targets. The learning curve that emerged within celebrity culture demonstrated how satirical platforms could influence their own reception through documented consequences of different response strategies and public examples of successful versus unsuccessful celebrity reaction patterns. The psychological support systems that enabled successful celebrity navigation of satirical attention often included professional advisors, personal confidants, and cultural perspective that helped individual celebrities maintain appropriate emotional distance from satirical content while developing effective engagement strategies. The documented importance of external support in managing satirical attention revealed how celebrity response quality often depended on surrounding relationships and advisory systems rather than purely individual psychological characteristics. The lasting cultural impact of documented celebrity response patterns extended beyond individual reputation management to influence broader understanding of how public figures could and should engage with satirical commentary within democratic cultural discourse. The archive of response strategies and their outcomes created valuable educational resource for understanding celebrity psychology, reputation management, and the complex relationships between satirical commentary and cultural authority within contemporary American media environments and public discourse systems. In the sophisticated moral universe that Matt Stone and Trey Parker constructed through their systematic approach to celebrity destruction, where the intensity and persistence of satirical attack correlates directly with perceived levels of hypocrisy, ego, inflation, and cultural harm, the creators developed an intricate philosophical framework that distinguished between gentle mockery, deserved by minor foibles, and comprehensive character assassination, warranted by fundamental moral failings that threatened social envy, discourse, and cultural understanding. This philosophical architecture revealed their deep commitment to using satirical platforms, not merely for entertainment or personal vendetta, but as instruments of cultural correction that could serve educational and moral purposes through the strategic application of shame and ridicule to celebrities whose behavior and influence demanded intervention. The target selection psychology that governed South Park's celebrity destruction decisions revealed sophisticated understanding of how different types of celebrity behavior warranted different levels of satirical response based on their potential impact on cultural discourse and social understanding. The creators' systematic approach to evaluating celebrity targets demonstrated their recognition that satirical commentary carried moral responsibilities that required careful consideration of proportionality between satirical attack, intensity, and the actual harm caused by celebrity behavior or cultural influence. This ethical framework elevated their celebrity destruction beyond simple entertainment into genuine moral education that used individual cases to illustrate broader principles about appropriate behavior for public figures and cultural authorities. The fundamental distinction between mockery and systematic destruction that characterized South Park's approach to different celebrity targets revealed their understanding that satirical comedy could serve multiple functions simultaneously, from gentle correction of minor character flaws to comprehensive demolition of dangerous cultural influences that required sustained attention and repeated satirical intervention. The creators' ability to calibrate their satirical intensity based on perceived moral urgency demonstrated sophisticated understanding of how comedic platforms could be weaponized for serious cultural work while maintaining entertainment value necessary for broad audience engagement. And effective message delivery. Brian Boitano's elevation to mythical status rather than satirical destruction illustrated the positive extreme of South Park's celebrity treatment spectrum, demonstrating how genuine humility, authentic achievement, and gracious response to satirical attention could transform potential targets into cultural heroes worthy of reverence rather than ridicule. His mythologization revealed the creator's capacity for genuine admiration and respect when celebrities demonstrated characteristics that aligned with their moral framework and cultural values, proving that their satirical platform could celebrate as effectively as it could destroy when circumstances warranted positive rather than negative attention. The psychological profile of celebrities who received gentle, satirical treatment typically included authentic, professional achievement based on genuine talent or effort rather than manufactured fame, demonstrated humility and self-awareness about their limitations and cultural position, gracious response to criticism, and satirical attention that revealed psychological security and emotional maturity, and positive cultural influence that enhanced rather than corrupted public discourse and social understanding. These characteristics created natural immunity against sustained satirical attack by removing the hypocrisy and ego inflation that provided primary targets for celebrity destruction efforts. Barbra Streisand's transformation into archetypal celebrity villain represented the negative extreme of South Park's moral universe, demonstrating how perceived arrogance, cultural condescension, and political pretension could warrant sustained satirical assault that transcended individual episode treatment to become permanent character assassination, woven throughout multiple seasons and story arcs. Her elevation to literal supervillain status revealed the creator's perception that certain celebrities represented genuine threats to cultural discourse that required ongoing satirical intervention to prevent their continued influence and authority within public conversations about politics and social issues. The specific characteristics that qualified celebrities for systematic destruction rather than gentle mockery included demonstrated hypocrisy between public statements and private behavior that revealed character inadequacy or moral failing, ego inflation that created disconnect between self-perception and actual achievement or cultural contribution, exploitation of public platform, or celebrity status for personal gain at expense of audience trust or social welfare, and harmful cultural influence that corrupted public discourse or promoted destructive values and behavioral patterns among followers and admirers. The hypocrisy detection system that informed South Park's target selection revealed sophisticated understanding of how celebrity behavior could be evaluated for internal consistency and moral authenticity rather than simple entertainment value or commercial success. The creator's ability to identify and exploit gaps between celebrity public personas and private behavior demonstrated their commitment to using satirical platforms for truth-telling purposes that could expose deception and manipulation within celebrity culture and entertainment industry practices. Sally Struthers' destruction based on the perceived contradiction between her weight and her advocacy for starving children illustrated how physical appearance could serve as satirical gateway to broader moral criticism when it revealed hypocrisy or lack of personal commitment to stated values and causes. The creator's willingness to use body shaming as satirical technique revealed their belief that physical presentation could reflect moral character when it contradicted public advocacy, positions, or professional claims about lifestyle. and personal commitment to stated principles. Phil Collins's destruction, motivated by purely personal grievance about Academy Award results, demonstrated how individual disappointment and wounded pride could be transformed into sustained satirical campaign that used personal motivation to fuel broader cultural commentary about artistic merit, commercial success, and institutional recognition within entertainment industry award systems. The persistence of anti-Collins satirical content revealed how personal emotional investment could sustain satirical attention far beyond what objective analysis of cultural importance might warrant. The ego inflation criterion that characterized many South Park celebrity destruction targets revealed the creators' particular sensitivity to public figures who appeared to possess inflated self-regard that exceeded their actual achievements or cultural contributions. The specific focus on celebrities who took themselves too seriously relative to their actual importance or influence demonstrated systematic commitment to using satirical platforms for ego deflation purposes that could serve broader cultural functions by challenging inappropriate authority claims and cultural pretension. Tom Cruise's sustained destruction across multiple episodes and seasons illustrated how certain celebrities could provide ongoing satirical material through their continued behavior and public statements that reinforced rather than corrected the character flaws and psychological problems identified in original satirical attacks. His defensive response patterns and ongoing controversial behavior created self-perpetuating satirical cycle that justified continued attention and escalating satirical intensity over extended time periods. The cultural harm assessment that informed decisions about satirical intensity revealed the creator's understanding that certain celebrities posed genuine threats to cultural discourse and social understanding that warranted sustained satirical intervention beyond what their individual entertainment value might justify. The specific targeting of figures whose influence extended beyond entertainment into politics, religion, or social policy demonstrated recognition that satirical platforms could serve public service functions by challenging, dangerous, or corrupting cultural authorities. The educational value framework that underlying South Park's celebrity destruction efforts revealed their commitment to using individual celebrity cases as teaching tools that could illustrate broader moral principles and social dynamics for audience education, rather than simple entertainment consumption. The specific techniques employed to transform celebrity mockery into cultural commentary demonstrated sophisticated understanding of how satirical content could serve pedagogical purposes while maintaining entertainment value necessary for effective message delivery and audience engagement. The psychological manipulation detection system that informed many celebrity destruction decisions revealed the creator's particular sensitivity to public figures who appeared to exploit audience relationships or public trust for personal advancement rather than genuine service or cultural contribution. The specific targeting of celebrities who used emotional manipulation, false expertise, or manufactured authenticity to influence public opinion demonstrated systematic commitment to exposing deceptive practices within celebrity culture and media industry operations. John Edwards' designation as biggest douche in the universe illustrated the extreme end of South Park's moral judgment system, demonstrating how certain types of celebrity behavior could warrant cosmic-level condemnation that transcended typical entertainment industry criticism to become genuine moral education about fraud, exploitation, and the abuse of public trust for personal financial gain. His Universal Douche Award revealed the creator's understanding that some celebrity behavior represented genuine evil that required satirical response proportional to its harmful impact on vulnerable individuals and social discourse. The proportionality principle that governs satirical attack intensity revealed sophisticated moral reasoning that attempted to match satirical consequences with actual harm caused by celebrity behavior and cultural influence. The creator's ability to distinguish between celebrities who deserve gentle correction and those who warranted comprehensive destruction demonstrated ethical framework that elevated their satirical work beyond simple entertainment into genuine moral instruction and cultural correction that served broader social purposes. The redemption possibility framework that characterized some celebrity storylines revealed the creator's understanding that satirical destruction could serve corrective rather than purely punitive purposes when celebrities demonstrated genuine self-awareness and behavioral modification in response to satirical criticism. The specific examples of celebrities who achieved satirical redemption through acknowledgement of their mistakes and commitment to improvement demonstrated that South Park's moral universe included mechanisms for forgiveness and rehabilitation rather than permanent condemnation for all satirical targets. The systemic corruption identification that informed targeting decisions about entertainment industry figures, political personalities, and business leaders revealed the creator's sophisticated understanding of how individual celebrity problems often reflected broader institutional failures and cultural patterns that required satirical attention to expose and potentially correct through public awareness and cultural discourse modification. The lasting impact of South Park's philosophical approach to celebrity destruction extended beyond individual entertainment episodes to influence broader cultural understanding of how satirical commentary could serve moral education and social correction purposes while maintaining entertainment value necessary for effective cultural communication. Their systematic approach to celebrity evaluation and satirical response calibration created template for how animated platforms could address serious cultural issues through comedic means while maintaining ethical standards and social responsibility that elevated satirical content beyond pure entertainment into genuine cultural contribution and moral instruction that served broader social purposes through individual celebrity case studies and systematic examination of cultural authority and public figure behavior within contemporary American society. As our journey through the animated annals of celebrity destruction draws to its peaceful close, we find ourselves enriched by the gentle wisdom of satirical truth-telling and the profound insights that emerge when human ego meets its inevitable reckoning through the honest mirror of animated commentary. In the quiet contemplation of these countless celebrity rises and falls, we discover that South Park's systematic approach to fame deconstruction served not merely as entertainment but as essential cultural medicine, using laughter to heal the wounds that excessive reverence for celebrity creates within our collective consciousness. The creator's remarkable ability to identify and expose the fundamental contradictions between public persona and private reality revealed deeper truths about human nature and the corrupting influence of unexamined fame. Through their careful calibration of satirical intensity based on perceived moral necessity, they demonstrated how comedy could serve justice, how ridicule could promote humility, and how animated destruction could ultimately preserve rather than diminish our capacity for genuine admiration and appropriate cultural reverence. In the gentle twilight of reflection, we recognize that the celebrities who emerged unscathed or even elevated by their South Park encounters possessed the very qualities our culture most desperately needs: authentic humility, genuine self-awareness, and the courage to laugh at themselves while maintaining their essential dignity. Their examples illuminate the path toward healthier celebrity culture and more honest public discourse. Rest now in the knowledge that somewhere in our collective unconscious, these animated lessons continue their quiet work, teaching us through dreams and gentle memory that true greatness requires no protection from honest laughter, and that the celebrities worth celebrating are those who can find joy rather than threat in the mirror of satirical truth. Sleep peacefully, knowing that wisdom often wears the gentle mask of comedy.